So essentially, it has been roughly maybe a month and a half, 2 months since they left.
They being Ito and Aruna.
Or not Ito and Aruna. It's been well significantly more than that, maybe almost 3 months since Ito and Aruna left. 2 months since the rest of the party split away aboard the airship the Skyweaver, heading towards the capital of Weissenberg. You remained behind with Abigail and Dillamond at Krutz Castle to continue overseeing the evacuation of the people within the city.
Right.
The evacuation itself has actually been going largely pretty well.
Hey.
After the sudden surprise attack by the woman in white and the red dragon Bismarck, unsurprisingly, people were pretty willing to get their shit together and leave. What was a little bit more difficult was convincing able-bodied young men and women to take up arms, because the Crown is levying troops from everywhere.
Oh boy. I'm sure the people love that.
Yes, they do. And that's why it's been so easy to find people. You yourself have... Initially, your time staying there was focused on Abigail's training. She was very nervous, understandably. She spent a lot of time with you, but time went on more and more. She grew more comfortable with Dillamond, who, despite her weakening health, and her weakening power, she still has the knowledge of a Zephyr Quintessent, the experience to teach her, even if she's losing the power of it.
She's still a druid, but
yes. It came to a point where Abigail spent less and less time with you, and there were days where you would just see Abigail and Dillamond sitting beneath the large central tree within the Whispering Glades. Sometimes in silence, maybe. Sometimes in silence, sometimes speaking at length of the duties and trials that lay ahead her.
I'm surprised with Dillamond that it was a Warforged.
Yeah, it is unusual, but unusual times.
It's probably like a burst.
Very likely, I would say definitely. Now, Abigail's strengths still do not lie in spellcasting. She is not much of a caster, but she's made incredible strides with her transformation, even surpassing you, as it did not take her long under the tutelage of both you and Dillamond to take her first elemental form, just a swirling wind vortex. That surprisingly wasn't just a wind vortex. It was like there were pieces of metal that were flying around in it. Very dangerous, very powerful, and that same metal, when she transforms back, sort of condenses back into her Warforged form.
Interesting.
So, she's very powerful in that regard, woefully inadequate in others, and she's working on that. She's doing her best. But that's kind of left you, over the last week or two, with not a lot to do, honestly, as she's really been around Dillamond a lot and learning.
Sure.
She's taken over quite a bit of her tutelage. But it is during this week of a little bit boredom where a little bit of excitement and perhaps a little bit of relief for Karaku comes in. Adelindra and the Hussars show up. Ravaged, significantly diminished, no more than 10% of their force remaining.
They got fucked up.
Adelindra herself was pretty severely injured. She has a massive bandage across her head. Basically, her face and hair stained almost as red as the armor she wears. And
Jesus.
it looks like the blood still oozes a little bit freely as she comes into town. The Hussars are bedraggled, and while initially there's a little bit of excitement that sort of permeates throughout Krutz Castle, as soon as they see the Hussars and how they've been beat up, this elite cavalry unit, that excitement turns to fear, and you know it's going to be even harder to recruit people.
Low.
Morale is low. Unfortunately, the Lord of Krutz Castle, Lord von Richten, has been a bit absent. Not physically, but mentally, ever since the knowledge of his son being killed and having to be taken care of, and this knowledge that he's gonna have to evacuate his city, and that there's an army that's marching in, and Gen asked him to sort of as soon as possible, once everything is in order, evacuate back to the capital at the very least, so that he can aid in the advisory board over his niece, who is the current Holy Emperor.
Yeah.
So he's not really been there, been absent. Combine that with the fact that after the attack with the woman in white in Bismarck, portions of the city were significantly damaged, including the clock face of Uncle Dependable. The home of the Kenku was basically blown out. So as the whole point is, morale's real bad in the city. People are still evacuating. Adelindra does not seem to notice you. Her mind sort of off in its own place as she rides at the head of the hussars, sort of with bent and broken wings, and chipped weapons, smashed armor. It's a grim parade that walks through Krutz, heading towards the home of Lord von Richten, Krutz Castle proper. The whispers start not long after, saying, "Empire's gonna fall. There's no chance they can stand against this. The Tsars couldn't stand. What army will?" The type of whispers you would expect.
Scared citizens.
You receive a letter not much longer afterwards, very same day. A request for an audience at Krutz Castle itself. Just you. No request for Abigail or anyone.
It was signed by.
It looks like it was signed by Lord von Richten himself. It bears his official seal.
Alright, let's go see him. I put on my nicest robe.
And wizard hat.
Which is just the same robe I have.
We only have one robe here. We clean it with lizard piss.
How else are you gonna, get it hardened?
The once stout and sturdy walls of Krutz Castle itself seem diminished with a lesser guard presence, and suddenly they don't seem like they'd be formidable enough to hold anything back as you pass beneath them. Going through an iron portcullis, you know a red dragon melt in a moment. The Krutz Castle itself is it's harried with activity as people are packing things. There's a large bonfire out front where people are burning documents, just in case.
You sack the city, but can't sack all its secrets.
That's true. At least not the ones that are easy to get to. The guard that you've come to know pretty well, Barkley.
Is the one that had the interest in Alakul?
Yes, who's friends with Alakul, and to a lesser extent the party, but he gave Alakul the Encyclopedia Draconica and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of sees you coming in and sort of raises your hand. He's covered in like soot, like the nice coat that Alakul gave him. The sort of really nice green coat with the single fur inside is covered in like smudged soot and things, where he's been running around helping burn things and trying to gather things. But even so, he wears a bright smile as he says, "Hey, Lizard Man, over here. You're here for that meeting, right?"
Good to see you, sir.
Well, it's good to see you. Always nice to have a extra pair of hands around that ain't run off yet, you know what I'm saying? Especially one that can take care of themselves should a fight happen.
I kind of make notice of how unprofessional he usually looks, and I, using my druid craft, I help create little puffs of wind to clean off the soot that's deep within the wrinkles of his clothing. Here, let me help you tidy yourself up. I can tell you've been working.
He looks a little bit embarrassed at first, but he says, "Yeah. Usually I like to present myself a little bit more professional-like, but I think under the circumstances, most people understand. Not that there's even many people around to see us anymore. I'll tell you what, most of this town, at least 75% of it's run off."
No matter how many people are here, how the guard looks will help the people and how they feel in the coming times. You looking better just in itself can help immensely.
You're
The
right.
little bit I can do to help will
You're
help
right.
everyone.
We are the protectors of this town. We have to present our best foot forward. The Lord's inside waiting for you in the main dining hall. We've put together a little bit of supper. Captain Adelindra is there. She was joined by that little boy that you ran across about a couple months ago, snuck into the damn palace. Of course, I know better now. I talked to the Lord. He knows that he can come and go, but he's in there with him waiting.
Very well. Thank you, Barkley.
He pushes open the door for you as you step into the hallway, which is eerily quiet compared to the ruckus outside of people putting things together, packing things. There's no one to lead you to the dining hall, but it's easy to find. It's the only light that's coming in within the darkened hallways.
As I walk down the halls, I don't try to hide or walk softly. I make sure I'm known by the clicking of like every other step, my staff hitting the ground as I walk down the halls.
Right.
Just to make my presence known as I enter.
Well, all have their heads turned towards the doorway as you walk through it, having heard your arrival. Lord von Richten looking tremendously aged. He was already an older man, but the past few months, stress, worry has worn on him heavily. His back, once straight and proud, eyes sort of bent, head lowered, his eyes furrowed with wrinkles, and his hair no longer peppery or even just off gray. It's stark white. Adelindra is there. She is wearing her full armor, been polished up as best as it can. She does have the bandages across half her face still, and you can see they've been changed, but they're stained with blood. Just lightly.
Okay.
You can see Gen is there. He has his great blue eye, piercing blue eyes, sort of looking at you expectantly. His silver wired rimmed glasses catching the glittering torchlight. The smell of food is wafting into your nostrils, and despite the fact that it's a relatively meager fare for a lord, it's certainly better than you've experienced
Tavern
in
food,
many of your
probably been
lives.
eating.
Much better than tavern food.
As I enter and everyone's there, I slightly bow my head and what time is it? Is it evening? Is it morning?
It's
is it
evening when
midday?
Evening whenever the meeting was supposed to be. So
Good evening.
good evening, Lord von Richter says as Gen just sort of waves at you.
I give him a little wink.
Slightly
as I see him.
precocious nature coming through him. Adeline just kind of just sits surly. She honestly seems kind of angry, kind of annoyed.
Is she even there, or is she self-absorbed?
She seems lost in her own mind. The plate before her has food on it, but she has not picked up her utensils. Has not touched it. Please, sit down, Mr. Karakwa.
Thank you. I make my way to my seat. That's it.
You have been within the town. Tell me, how do the evacuations go?
The evacuations seem to be going well. better than can be what I initially expected it to be. You're getting more people out every day at a steady rate. Not much panicking.
I thank you for the aid that you have undertaken. You and your protege. You may be very well wondering why I've called you here this night. To tell you the truth, it was not so much my doing, so much as his, as he motions over again, sort of nods his head. And says, so, whenever I left, about a month and a half ago, I said I was going to be going up north and scouting and things like that. I, happened to go by the town you were talking about, Primrose, right?
Yes.
No, I was able to go into the woods, and there was definitely some distortions. Magical. I definitely could feel that. Took me a little while to really discern it. It's a little bit old whenever I got to it. But I did definitely sense a plane shift spell.
Plane shift. Could you determine its origin?
Well, I did follow it, actually, all the way into the Feywild.
The Feywild?
Yeah, right into the heart of the Winter Court. Not the type of place you want to be. It's freezing. But, nonetheless, I knew that Runa and Ito had disappeared around here, and poked my head in, and I did what dragons do. I took on the form of an Eladrin and walked in amongst themselves, not for very long. I did what I could to find things out.
What could you find?
Well, they're all undergoing some sort of big party or ritual or something like that. The Moonlit King, whatever he is, he's got a big hullabaloo going on. Well, I did, however, find out that they had a pair of very interesting prisoners held within the dungeon. A certain moon elf and a human that was her servant.
Her servant, eh?
Yeah, they hadn't been held for very long, not more than a couple days, but I couldn't really get down there to check, but it's just something in my gut tells me.
Can I do would that be a history check or a arcana check? How does time flow differently in the Feywild compared to the material plane?
You can do either or.
Okay. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done a roll here. Let's do, and they're all the same. D20 plus 4. 23.
Time moves oddly in the Feywild, and to say that doesn't just mean it's stretched out or condensed. Sometimes it'll do both. Sometimes it'll race ahead, but usually it's pretty much slower. It's an unusual thing, for sure.
So they could have been in there.
They could have been in there for a
this
while.
Entire time.
The whole time.
For the past 3 months.
Basically, yes. And it might have seemed to pass pretty quickly for them, or it could have seemed like years.
Definitely not a great situation to be stuck in the Feywild.
Not wrong about that. But that's when I, came to see if there was anybody that would be able to help. I don't exactly want to go in and tear up the place, if you know what I mean. I guess theoretically I might be able to, but I would just be one dragon and there's hundreds, thousands of them. Some of them damn powerful.
The Feywild is not that which to be trifled with easily either. A lot of it is beyond understanding for mere mortals such as myself.
But that absolutely is the case.
I do know if that's where they've been, That explains a lot why we couldn't find them before. Are you familiar with what happened again?
They did mention it briefly, but they didn't
Yeah,
go
they just
into
fucking left them. It was weird. I can't believe that shit.
particular details. But whatever wrongs were done back then, we have the opportunity to right them now, I suppose.
I see the dilemma you're putting me in now.
At this point, Adlindra just kind of looks up and says, I wouldn't be surprised. Ito's got a long history of just running off. Especially if there's another woman involved.
Have you no concern for him?
I lost my concern years. What is your passive insight?
My passive insight is a 15.
You can tell there's...
He's being tsundere.
It's a little bit of a half-truth. He seems exhausted.
I don't press it further.
Actually, give me a medicine check.
Sure. Just by looking at her and... Let's see. Hey, I'm okay at these. Fuck. 7. I have a +5, goddammit.
It is worrying that her eye is still bleeding.
It's not just her. It's not like a gash. It's still just her eye.
It's the whole side of her face is bandaged up.
Jesus. And I can tell just from looking, it's just been, I can see that it's basically just whatever medic they have that knows how to apply a tourniquet and a bandage, huh?
Yes.
Nothing beyond that.
Nothing beyond that. If you want, you can inspect it a little more, but she's not been super forthcoming.
I don't think now would be the appropriate time to do so anyway. Not while meeting with a lord and a elder dragon. But I will make note of it so I can talk to her. See if I can help her.
Ken says, I thought, instead of just going in there myself and trying to get them out, and at least seeing if it is true that this is them. No, they're allies of yours, and thought I might come ask if you wanted to join along. I understand if you're busy here. I know Abigail is in need of tutelage. People here are in need of every working pair of hands they can, but thought I'd ask first. It's really very little effort for me to move back and forth now that I know where I need to go.
Dilliman, thankfully, still holds on to her power in her life for now. Normally, I would not want to burden her with the responsibilities of helping to raise and tutel another person. But I have seen how well they've done together. That is, she has done a much greater job than I could. Be that whether they're both of the wind or she just being a better teacher than I. I would have no qualms leaving Abigail here with Dilliman. But to leave the people here.
Yes. Well, choice is yours. And about that time, Adelinder says, I can continue to oversee their evacuation. I'm going towards the capital anyway. Duty lies there.
When do you plan to leave?
Within the week. I have to report as soon as possible. Capital. Dealing with the pomp and ceremony of promotion. Certainly not one I was planning on receiving. I would have been happy to spend the rest of my days in a frozen rock off in the west on the northern coast. But such trying times call for extraordinary measures.
Harakwa is putting on how this is quite a bit of a dilemma for him. But deep inside, he knows also this is a chance to look more into the Staff of Four Seasons that he had been told about.
That is true.
And in that, there's a certain almost guilty pleasure that he's getting in knowing that possibly this could be a chance for that. Not so much the fact that it's being a treasure, but maybe this could also help turn the tide.
It may very well
a powerful
be.
relic such as that.
May very well be. Do you remember anything about the Staff of Four?
It's been a long time since it's
Yes.
been mentioned.
I can remind you of.
Okay.
The Staff of Four Seasons. A powerful druidic artifact that Dillimond was able to tell you was last seen or last known to be within the possession the Crashing Tide druids. Of course, you know
the ones that split.
Crashing Tides are the ones that have split between the brother and sister who believe they are both supposed to be the Crashing Tide, the next inheritor of that position. So yes, it's a little bit of a sticky situation, and you know where they are. They're up in the mountains slightly north of the Coldwood.
But this situation in the Feywild, helping Ito and Aruna, being in the Moonlight King's court, Karakwa thinks he could probably levy that situation to help him with that whole
Very
crashing
possible.
tide also.
Very possible.
And that's what he's thinking.
Well, Karakwa, I'm not going to be leaving tonight, at the very least. But you can just tell me in the morning if you want. I understand it's getting pretty late. There's some matters that I need to oversee before I leave. So I'll give you the night to think on it and find you in the morning.
Lord Von Richter,
Yes.
do you have a... How do I word this?
Massive schlong. Yes.
Present it, then.
What do you think put out this poor woman's eye?
Jesus Christ. I'm shot heard around the world.
But does he have a...
Because Barako doesn't serve a king or an emperor beyond being just a person that lives in the land, you know. But still, he's held himself at his word to help here. I'm trying to figure out how to word that. I have agreed to help you, my lord, Von Richter. But would it be displeasing for you if I was to leave to help those in need, those who have helped you before also?
Your help has been immeasurable. I am grateful for it. Anyone that is willing to leave has already left. Those that have not left, there may very well be no prodding them to leave. Suspect For the most part, your presence here may not be very necessary anymore. It
Very
is
well.
very much closing in on my time to leave as well. Head to the capital. I will endeavor to leave the High General Lindra whenever she leaves. And this is the first time you've gotten confirmation of what Adelindra's new position is going to be. She's going to be the general over the entire military of Stalreich.
How horrifying. I can feel Ito's dick shriveling from here.
I will be riding with very best of guards, even in their diminished state.
How does Adelinda react to hearing something like that?
She actually, whenever she hears her official title, she kind of flinches a little bit, but doesn't say anything else.
Very well. Again, I would be more than happy to accompany you. But I do ask, why have you asked just me here?
Well,
Is it merely for party convenience because I'm not playing on the Sunday game?
for me to travel great distances is very possible and not even very taxing, but the truth is they're a little bit lost out in the world. I know where you are. You stayed here. They are out somewhere on the general direction of Weissenberg. But beyond that, I couldn't tell you. I could probably start searching them down, casting spells to do that. But even so, I'd rather go in with a small party, and specifically someone that might be able to take a shape that'll be able to blend in. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
This will be a job that's more finesse and stealth, not brute force. So
Very
that is
well.
why I've chosen you. Only you.
Send word again when you are ready to leave. I will be ready to leave at a moment's notice.
Make your preparations tonight and say your goodbyes if you've got any to say or any preparations to make. I'll be ready to go in the morning. And
Very well.
With that, you eat your meal mostly in silence. Afterwards,
I imagine it's kind of somber.
yes. After maybe another 20 or so minutes, Von Richten excuses himself and retires to his own bed. Adelindra, as soon as Don gets up and just walks out the door, and just kind of shrugs and finishes his meal. Says, "In the morning, then."
You wouldn't happen to know where Adelinda is staying, do you?
Oh, she'll be staying in the guest quarters here. She's a very important person. She already was before, but now you don't stay at an inn. That kind of title. Even if she wants to, I'm afraid.
Does it not seem unusual that her eye or her is still actively wounding?
I tried to look at it, but it kind of pushed me off and shrugged me away. Wasn't one to press on the matter, I'm afraid. That being said, we are not friends and we barely met each other. If you were to try, it might have better success, but who knows?
Pushes back and stands up. Thank you for this. See you in...
He nods his head and gets up and leaves as well. As you walk out into the hall, empty chambers.
Haha!
Yeah, your tongue flies backwards and grabs a piece of fruit off a plate.
A whole grapevine.
You walk
I make
out.
my way to the guest chambers then.
Much like before, the estate of Kurt's castle is eerily silent on the inside and dark. No torches lit or anything like that.
This time I purposely make sure that I'm not making noise.
Alright. Roll a stealth check.
Not so much stealth, but I'm not just doing like the normal like the tap like you normally do when you're walking with a staff or a cane or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not trying to be stealthy, but I'm not trying to be heard either. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
You make your way to the guest chamber. You have dark vision, right?
Actually, I do not.
But you
somehow.
You kind of have to like feel your way along the panels. You're vaguely familiar where it is. But
there are no candles in this hall?
It's completely pitch black. Nothing's been lit. It's like I said, it's eerily dark and eerily quiet.
I make a small flame in my hand with produce flame as I walk down the hall.
Right. The orange light presses against the darkness, illuminating the way before you as you're able to walk along. Heading to the up the main stairs on the second floor, you turn into the guest's wing, towards the guest quarters. It's not hard to find her room. It's the only one that is occupied. You can see the door sits slightly ajar, and an orangish glow of fire sort of comes from it. No doubt from the fireplace. You can even hear it crackling slightly as you draw closer. The plush woven rug beneath your feet muffles your footfall, as you just delicately run your hand along the side of the wooden wall, sort of your fingertips going across the wood panels to assure your direction and stability, as you soon stand before this slightly cracked doorway. Just through the little opening, maybe 4 or 5 inches, you can see the red armor of Adelindra has been sort of tossed to the side, neatly piled up on a chair that looks like it's made of fine brown leather or suede.
I don't know if you could hear that or not. I'm tapping on the door, using the door knocker, whichever it is.
Right. Roll a perception.
Good at those. 25.
Right. You do hear the slight shuffle of feet, and then this door slowly creaks open, revealing a somewhat empty, like an empty room, save for a burning fire and the armor that is put in the chair. Looks like the bed is a 4-poster bed that has had its very nice bedspread moved to the side. You hear the faint sort of sound of breathing coming from behind the door.
I make my presence known. Adelindra. It's Karakwa. Wanted to check up on you.
Slowly, you hear the creak of the door as she pushes it back closed from where she was hiding behind it. Sort of dagger still clutched in her hand, a slightly annoyed look on her face, the bandages still wrapped around it. Sort of pushing her hair against her head. What do you want?
I couldn't help but be somewhat concerned with your wound.
Surprised by that. It's not exactly a pleasant thing to see. Imagine how it felt.
What happened?
Let's just say we ran into a spot of trouble whenever we were retreating from Festenhate. which
That's
is an understatement because you know what she faced up there.
so I hadn't seen her since Festenhaven then.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen her since Festenhaven. Since probably
Wait,
you haven't
for,
seen Adlindra for a while.
that's
Long
been like
time.
4, 5,
Been many
6
months.
months.
Been many months.
For this long, and you still bleed?
Uh, she just sort of shrugs. And, what, do you want to see it?
I do.
She unravels the sort of wrapping on her face and pulls the gauze away, and it is a you almost have to take a step back. It is a grievous wound that does not look. There is a large slash that runs from nearly her scalp all the way down straight through her eye. Her eye is gone. She will never see out the eye, and no magical is going to bring that back. It's been far too long.
Right.
The wound extends almost down to her lip, and despite its age, it looks pretty fresh. And there's something a little bit disturbing about it. It looks like there is frostbite at the edges of it, constantly inflamed, slightly black.
Obviously a magical wound.
Obviously a magical wound.
Alindra has...
I was never much of a looker anyway.
I've seen you naked. That is not true. Has a cleric or another healer looked at this?
Those limited people that we have managed to stave off whatever effects they can. However, it doesn't seem that my life's in danger. Make for a very pretty sight. Not being able to fully heal the wound as
Can I determine somehow if this kind of wound is a curse?
Sure.
Would that be detect magic or
You
just a
could-
straight arcana check?
You could do detect magic, yes.
I asked her, I said, would you mind if I were to...
What, you think you're gonna make it worse?
I would not do anything without your permission.
It's fine.
Let's see, what's a good description I can use for this? I slowly close my eyes and in a circle slowly walk around her.
Yep.
And then touch my hand to the top of her head above where the wound is. And cast detect magic.
Almost immediately, you can feel it's almost like heat washes over you. Powerful magic. Definitely, so the blade did something to curse her to keep this wound constantly festering. And while it's held in check, it's more than just a simple healing spell that it will take to close this. Obviously, some sort of remove curse spell, some sort of restoration spell is going to be required. And those are moderately difficult spells, especially for such a limited army right now.
Well, I do have Greater Restoration, which can remove 1 curse.
Yes. You suspect that will do it at the very least.
I reach into my robe sleeve and pull out a small bundles of diamonds I have. And as I look and concentrate, holding in my hand, using the magic to turn them into a fine dust.
Okay.
cast Greater Restoration on her with the intent of removing the curse. See if that does anything.
As the wound glows faintly at its edges, you can see she sighs almost with relief as her face relaxes. The wound itself, the edges of it no longer seem blackened or inflamed or frostbitten. It does knit closed and stops weeping. Her eye itself is not, it's beyond mending at this point.
Ed.
It's gone. But, you do see, it's left with, nothing but a very vicious scar over her left eye, and her left eye is now sort of a milky white. It looks almost pretty badass.
I tell her, or I ask her, how do you feel?
Relieved, at the very least. Thank you.
I should help heal up the wound and stop the bleeding from happening. You won't have to wear those bandages every day. Except for hopefully maybe just the next day or so.
It didn't fit very well under the helmet.
We can't have
yeah.
the High General with a constant wound, huh?
He sort of sighs. That's right, me, the High General, has already lost 90% of one force, without able to lose 90% of another. Why not fail an entire empire, and not just the people that were put under her in the first place?
I would trust no other person for this than you. I have seen how you lead. I've seen how you act. We face a powerful foe. It won't just be you by yourself.
More powerful than I even realized in the first place.
As did I.
But
as did Ito. As did Reed. As did all of us.
But what happened to Ito? I don't understand exactly. I don't know what Gen was talking about. Because obviously she wouldn't.
Are you familiar with the Feywild?
I suppose in a passing sense, yes. Had a little business there, but I understand that it's particularly thin in certain places, the Feywild and the material plane.
Well, it appears that Ito and Aruna being held captive by a certain party of the Feywild.
Both
A
the
certain
trouble and
higher up.
always needing someone to get him out. It was never... He was always the soft one. It was me and Gondwin that had to get him out of trouble. Guess that's sort of what I liked about him.
Don't worry. Gen and I will do what we can to get him back safe.
I believe you will. Do so, you'll have to be rested. I imagine you've exerted some of your magical energies helping me out. That you have my thanks. I will not detain you any longer. I apologize for trying to ambush you for entering my world.
It is why I knocked and announced. I knew better than to just enter.
Good night, Grok.
Hey. You have this. And I bow and I leave. It's kind of... Hi, Laura. Hi, Pandora.
Oh my god, you start making out with Ito's ex-wife!
I'm gonna make out with Ito's ex-wife.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
Cloaca to cloaca.
Yeah.
Alright. You've returned back to the nook and cranny. It's basically empty. Burlow, Darla, and Truman have left already.
Was that cool?
Is that the what?
The cool barkeep that was just there, or was that the other place?
No, that's another place. For
But
the nook and cranny is where, whenever you first went to Crystal Castle, there was the human bar that was in love with the halfling barmaid, and you helped resolve that situation. That's the nook and cranny.
Yep.
And that whole family has left already. Packed up and evacuated, with your aid as well whenever that happened. So it's basically just a little more than tenant housing. That being said,
Fair.
the town itself is empty to the point that it's not too hard to find a room there. You're able to settle in and find a place to sleep. Not much in the way of food or amenities at this point. It's all been sort of emptied out. But you're able to rest and wake up bright and early in the morning. The sun streaming through the nearby slightly frosted windows, greeting a new day, and a new adventure, and a new rescue mission. Save that douchebag, Ito, and Aruna.
And that cool hot elf, Aruna. I do make sure to speak with Abigail and Aruna before leaving, of course.
Abigail and Dillamond.
Duh. I just said Aruna, that's why. And they're both A's, fuck you. Abigail and Dillamond.
The, Abigail, like I said, has been spending a lot of time with Dillamond, so much so that she generally stays in the Whispering Glade with her, in her tent. The druids themselves have not evacuated yet. They've maintained, with Dillamond, they've maintained a presence to help. For them, evacuating is a lot easier than the average person. They can transform into birds and animals and get the hell away. So they've been trying to oversee the general evacuation, along with the monks of the Sapphire Horse Monastery. Although
they were tight-knit group together.
Yes, although even the monks themselves at this point are beginning their exodus as well, having rounded up all their horses into great herds and begun driving them across the Vergilt plains. You can find the two there in the early morning light, meditating beneath the great tree that sits in the center of the Whispering Glade. You can hear the wind that sort of gently goes through the branches, giving the grove its name. This whispering sound that sort of echoes in your ears.
I watch for a while, taking in the sight of how much Abigail has grown and how much she has learned and how much more she has become.
Dillamond they sit quietly for a few minutes. Then Dillamond says, "Can you feel the earth, the plants, air all around you? Difficult. But your element is the wind. And it is ever eternal within this glade. You hear how it flutters across the grass, over branch and bark. It fills you. You must be careful not to let it consume you completely. You must always be aware of yourself and your surroundings. Now, dear girl, I want you to take the wind. I want, will it, all your might, to push over that small sapling. As there is a small tree nearby, you wait for a couple of minutes, and the wind begins to pick up a vortex within the Whispering Glade, very localized, as all of a sudden you see this little sapling begin to whip around pretty wildly, and you can see it slowly starts to raise up in the air, and its roots begin to give. And the ground, the earth itself bulges, and it doesn't get ripped out the ground, but it is clearly bent and nearly pulled out the ground before Abigail sort of sighs. The wind dies away. Not a complete success, but a very good effort. As Dilliman says, much better. Much better. Much better.
She pulls out her beer and drinks it.
Take a rest, dear girl. Someone's here to see us. And the two open their eyes. Dilliman sort of looks at you. Abigail sort of lifts to her feet first, and she helps Dilliman to hers. Dilliman's face, she looks, despite all the troubles around town, she actually looks significantly better. There's a certain color and life that has returned to her face as she's helped Abigail.
That's good to see.
The two greet you, Abigail saying, did you see it? I almost ripped that tree up.
I did. Very impressive. I don't have controls of the winds as strong as that.
I couldn't have done it without you. I mean, you're the one that got me this far.
I'm going to be leaving for a bit with Gen.
You mean leaving?
Gen has found out where Ito and Aruna have gone. They're in the Feywild. Held captive by the Winter Court. Is that what it is? The Winter Court.
But I still have a lot to learn. I mean, it's gonna leave?
Would not do it if I knew that you weren't in the most capable of hands. You didn't have the best of abilities to learn. It's almost to the point where I can't even help you now. Your shape-shifting has grown beyond what I can do. That's obviously where your strength lies. And your control of the wind and air has far exceeded what I could ever be capable of. You
can see she's quiet for a moment, but she shudders slightly. A shuddering that you've seen before.
It'd be hard for a robot to shudder.
Well, this is generally Warforged. They don't really have facial expressions. They don't really frown. But you saw this shuddering. This is to a lesser extent. The last time you saw shuddering like this was when her creator, her father, Fizbin, died.
Cool ass wizard.
Old ass wizard.
I said cool ass wizard.
Old ass wizard.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a sadness. A sadness over saying goodbye. I want you to.
This is not goodbye for good. It is just goodbye for now.
Dilliman places her hand on the brass form of Abigail. In all this time, dear girl, in learning of the wind and of its nature. It blows. It's transient. Things will be whipped into our life, whipped out of it. Such is the nature. And all you can do is hope that eventually, those things that are lost in the vortex, blown back to you. You understand, yeah? And Abigail just kind of nods her head. Yes. And she sort of walks forward and she wraps her arms around you. I think you saved my life.
You saved your own. I was merely there just to help you.
She breaks apart from the embrace. Says, until we meet again, Karakwa. When you get back, I'm gonna be able to mow down every sapling in this place with my wind.
And then we will help them grow again.
Such is the nature.
Farewell, Abigail.
To turn, and they walk back towards the central tree, with Abigail throwing one last look over her shoulder, or sitting down and going back to her meditations, her trainings with Dillamond. A sweet scene. Nice scene. You turn and leave the glade, easily finding Gen waiting for you. His young form, hides the true identity of an Gracie, go kill yourself, of an ancient silver dragon. An expectant look on his face.
Say that to Gracie!
As he sort of pushes his wire-rimmed glasses up his nose and says, "You ready to go?"
Let's go.
He reaches out a hand towards you. As you take it, you feel a familiar sucking sensation as
Ooh.
you are teleported across the plains and across great distances. And you find yourself almost immediately cold, bitterly cold, surrounded by white snow that glitters like diamond dust beneath a nearly full moon, waning gibbous. The cold itself is barely kept at bay by the warmth that permeates through you from your wildfire totem. It's unpleasant, but it's bearable. If you didn't have the totem, it would be dangerous to be exposed as you are. All about you are great silvery trees, some of them clearly conifers of some sort, evergreen trees, but many of them trees that seem like they would be caught in the dead of winter, no leaves on them, nothing on them except snow across the branches. You have made it, Gen's help, to the gloaming court, Winterport. And from there, we can probably pop back in, because the stuff that they hear now is gonna be a little bit more open for everyone.
Ta-da, then.
Ta-ta, I'll see you there in a second.
What? It's Brittany, bitch. Brittany's back.
I was giving everybody deep character questions, aka
People in
questions you
glass
ask
houses
people on
and
date.
ships.
To catch up a little bit with the Feywild group of Ito, Aruna, Keysby, and Hayhorn, things did not go very well last time you were here. Your confrontation with your father, something Haruna has no doubt thought about for a long time, backfired just about as hard as it could, as you were unable to contain your anger. And not only did you attack him, when you attacked him, you completely whiffed your swing, and in a building that is quite frankly filled with all sorts of guards that are all willing to go to the beck and call of your father Atlas, because they are very important people within this court. There's little need for me to be like, oh, well, the guards are coming. Can you escape? The reality is there's not really anything you could do to escape being detained by the guards at this point.
Shit, you fucked up.
Like 3 feet off the ground.
There's very little you could do to escape the guards at this point.
Yeah, especially because they have such a cool name.
What was their name again?
I I wrote it down, but it's so misspelled I can't even remember.
This is why I don't bother.
What did you spell it? What did you say it was?
Oh, let me see.
I mean, I think it was something like the Moray Impera.
I feel like Moray
Impervium?
Imperium.
Yeah.
I think it was like
Yep.
Impervium.
Moray Imperium.
Well,
Yep, that's what I have.
all right. Well, for one thing, make sure it's not Moray, it's Mare. So that's
Moray.
is in the
Gotcha.
seas on the moon. But
Yeah.
you were quickly detained and taken down below the court and thrown into a cell. A place to languish. At least Aruna and Ito are. Keysby managed to stay out of sight. Ahorn was able to blend in as a member of the guards and successfully avoid being brought in, thrown in jail. So it is only Ito and Aruna that languish. However, that is up to Keysby and Hayhorn.
Alright, Hayhorn, I guess we'll get out of here.
Are we in the same cell?
You are held in two different cells, but directly adjacent to each other.
Alright, I saw this in a video game once. I need you to keep an eye out for the guard, and I'll start looking at the toilet.
I thought Keysby's story was going first.
He's go first.
The two of you, Keysby, you seeing the shit hit the fan, managed to duck into a small nearby room that is empty, easily sliding into the door. You hear the scuffle outside, but within the safety of the room, you manage to find a dim shadow to push yourself into, and though the guards do open the door and search, it's little more than a brief scan. They don't see you at all from your hiding place, slightly below the bed. When the door shuts, you wait for a while. Hayhorn, what do you do at that point? You've been separated. You've seen Ito and Aruna get detained. You did not see Keysby get detained. At the same time, you're kind of separated from him.
Well, am I still with the leader? God, why don't I have his name?
You can call him Dave.
Aruna's father is named Atlas.
Atlas. Am I still like with him? Is this like right after? Am I still with him or?
The time you have to spend with him is relatively short. Once the prisoners are taken away, no more than maybe a half an hour to an hour before he dismisses everybody. Although it is ordered that 2 guards remain standing outside his door just in case, as he gets a little bit of extra security.
Fucking pussy.
Well, I'm assuming that he doesn't want me. He wants his best guards there. But I would be more than honored to go ahead and stand watch against the intruders.
Atlas doesn't really care. He just kind of shrugs and says, "Whatever."
Also, I'd give him a little tip. You might want to also check out your guy Rithkin down there. I mean, for someone who's always been so such a stickler for the
Oh,
rules to allow
fucking
these
Lou
two to just
going out of his way to
walk
throw a
in
random
so
guy under the
fast.
bus.
His eyes narrow. Rivkin, huh? Well, perhaps I shall
That
have
dude's
words with him.
Dead.
Yeah, I've seen him look over his notes over and over, and he just let these two through. Why do you think I had to follow him?
Then we shall see how he fares. You have my thanks.
Of course, my liege. And I'll, of course, bow as deep as I can.
Hayhorn opens up his hand. Tip? Rivkin, we shall see indeed. As he shuts the door, there's a small group of guards, maybe 4 or 5 around the Eladrin, each sort of discussing who's gonna take the double watch outside his door. All of them seem to unanimously not want to do it. I was like, man, I just want to go to bed. I don't really care that much about this guy. He's kind of an asshole.
Well, either way, it doesn't really deal with me, but...
But if you volunteer, there is absolutely... they're like, all right. Hey, means I don't have to do it. They end up having to draw straws. The unlucky loser of that stands guard with you. His name is Kirkman. He's a rather diminutive fellow, and you get the feeling that maybe the drawing of the straws was not nearly as fair as you would expect. As it seems he might have been bullied a little bit into taking the post that other people did not want to take. He's diminutive, young. The armor sits awkwardly on him. He's uncomfortable with the weapon at his side. But he does dutifully guard and holds up the tiny little straw, which you realize is a little icicle. Of size, and throws it on the ground where it slowly melts away. Well, looks like we got the watch, buddy.
Oh lord.
Yeah, I haven't seen you around here very much. Of course, I don't know many of the
Well,
people.
you know, I've been sent here and there and everywhere they need me.
Huh. Wow, you get to travel? That's pretty awesome.
Only as far as the gates.
Oh, that's not as awesome.
Well, it's one's duty.
Huh. I wanted to be a poet.
Well, then why haven't you?
Well, 1, I'm not very good at poetry. 2, both of my brothers went into this line of duty. It was an easy job.
Yes, but you are not your brothers.
Tell me about it. Big jerks.
Was that them?
Yeah. Said it makes the family look good to have people that in close to the king.
Well, it never does hurt to have some sort of influence. But what good's the influence if you're stuck doing stuff you don't want to?
Amen. Would you like to hear one of my poems?
Oh, no, we can't disturb Sir Atlas in there.
Oh, I guess you're right. He's always
But you
been
know,
kind of a jerk.
things are pretty quiet here right now. Maybe you can find someone else who would like to listen to your sonnets.
Already tried.
Make Colin compose a sonnet on the spot.
Sometimes it's really hard to rhyme mauve with a word.
Grove?
Hold on, I'm gonna write that down.
No?
He pulls out a pen. Grove. Stove. Grove. I got him.
Well, excellent. And you're well on your way to wooing your next target. I
He nods his head. Yeah, but I am supposed to be on duty. It is my job. You can try to persuade him otherwise. You can roll a persuasion check.
Well, yeah, duty's all good and well, but it's quite quiet here, and I've heard that there's a cute little thing in the kitchens that has her eye on you.
He sort of says, Astra?
Well, I never got her name, but quite possible.
She always said my poems were stupid. I guess maybe she was just playing hard to get.
This poor guy.
Alright. Well, I know she's probably not on duty right now, but I can wait for her. And in the morning, I'll greet her with a new poem.
You go get her.
This poor guy. It's like showing. It's like I'm gonna play my guitar for her in front of the whole class. She's gonna love me.
I
This
feel
is the
so
only
bad.
guy, like I said in the chat, Colin, this is the only guy that gets spared in Aruna's Reckoning. I'll let him become a poet.
He sort of he totters away quickly, sort of adjusting his armor as he does so. You can see he muttering to himself. The stars beneath the bars. There's a guy named Lars? No, that's
Oh
not
dear
right.
God, what have I done?
As he walks away muttering sonnets to himself as you're left alone outside Atlas's room. Keysby, things have gotten quiet now.
That's what I was looking for.
You put your ear to the door. You hear a little more but quiet breathing from the nearby rooms. Likely people that are resting or entering rest. It seems like everything is quieted down now.
Good. Is the door shut?
Yes,
Or do they
the
just
door
kinda
was shut, yeah. He shut the door
Okay.
behind him.
I'll like hop up and grab the knob and turn it, and like try and get myself out of here. And I stealth out.
Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Forgot to bring my sheet up. Stealth check. 23.
Alright. You very quietly ease the door open, cracking it over initially about only an inch or so before opening it just wide enough for you to squeeze through. The hallway is empty and dark, save for the moonlight streaming in from overhead windows. You do see a single small candle is lit, sitting a small table near Hayhorn, who dutifully stands guard out front of Atlas's door alone.
I sprint up to him and like crawl up behind his cloak again and poke him. Whisper, what the fuck are you doing over here?
Trying to think about how to say it without like arousing suspicions. Granted, but of course I'm doing my duty, keeping Lord Atlas's quarters safe.
Dutifully, and a excellent job he's done. He's done it for nearly an hour and a half, and nobody has broken into the room yet. Nobody's even tried.
I go back to writing and I write on his back in silver like, we need to get them out. And let's go patrol towards the this not the cell, just like the holding area.
Alright, I will be here in like 30 seconds.
Hayhorn will say in a slightly louder voice, "What's that over there?" and start to walk down the hallway, chasing after a phantom.
All right.
Towards the cells.
By the 9 divines, what is that?
You do a performative sort of, what's that over there? Despite you don't see that anybody's really watching, but even so, you do it nonetheless.
Never know who could be hearing.
You are, you've never been down to the cells yourself, but you do know where they're located. Seen people taken to them. You know that you have to descend to basically the basement level, 2 levels down. You dart away, pretending that you've seen something that draws your attention. And for the most part, you pass by, you see the security here is pretty tight. As you pass by people that sort of look at you confused, a couple of them even move to stop you, saying, "What the hell are you doing?"
What am I doing? What are you doing?
You
Did you
mean, what
not
am-
see someone pass by here?
No! Did you?
Yes.
That's a,
Now you stay here,
that's
make
a
sure
deception
no one else
check
comes
right,
by.
That's a deception check right there.
Can we talk about how Lou's more into this character than he is into Reed?
Well, Reed's
Time to
much
kill
more of a
Reed.
fighter. That's a 17.
They sort of look at each other nervously. What did you see?
I don't know, it was just a blur. It quickly passed by me.
Oh great. Fuck me.
Now you two just stay here, make sure no one else passes by here, while I continue to try to hunt down this thing.
They sort of nervously look at each other and nod their heads. Fine. But we gotta report it to the guard captain.
You can do that after I'm done finding who it is. And Atlas help you if you let anybody else get past here.
They both sort of look at each other once again and sort of step to the side. Make it quick.
I'll just silently nod and walk past.
You descend past the first floor into the lower levels. Level that holds the dungeon cells themselves. Here, the security is even stricter. There's unfortunately not just a half-dozen guards on duty at all time around here. This is also the barracks where the guards sleep. So there's anywhere from a score, in addition to the half-dozen that are strictly on duty guarding this level, to possibly 2 score when the majority of the guards are resting. Currently, it's the lesser number, only about 20 people tucked away in their beds. You're easily able to walk past them, through the barracks area, descend into the dungeon proper itself. There's a flickering lantern on the wall, and you can see there's a half-dozen Winter Eladrin clad in the armor you've expected them to wear so far. They're mostly sitting around at a table. Looks like they're in like 2 groups of 3. They're playing 3 of them are playing cards at a table while the other 3 kind of lazily stand and watch the entrance when you come down and keeping an eye out on the prisoners themselves. At least the cells that the prisoners are held within. When you enter, it causes them to stir, get up quickly. What are you doing down here? You're not on duty!
No, I'm just... You guys look like you're having a fun time.
For the record, Luke should be put in these situations more often.
About this time, Aruna and Ito, you're able to sort of crane your head out. You've been in the cell for now a couple of hours. You've tested the bars. They are rock solid. They are made of mithril, it seems. The stone itself, sturdy, thick, extremely well crafted. And also they have a surprisingly strange smell about them. It's almost metallic. The guards look at you, Hayhorn. Fun? It's not meant to be fun. It is our sworn duty. Make sure that every prisoner stays in their cell till Moonlit King decides they're to be freed or executed. I guess either way you end up out the cell.
Oh, I'm not talking about the cell duty, I'm talking about the cards you guys are playing.
Well, you must be easily entertained, son.
Well, it beats watching prisoners, doesn't it?
Again, it's our duty. And we don't shirk responsibility here.
Well, yeah, but you could take a little break if someone was there to relieve you.
You can...
I never really had much else to do anyway.
What's your name, son? I can't say I'm that familiar with you.
Wraithron, at your service.
Roll a deception check.
That was a pretty low one, 13.
What are you
Technically,
new?
I'm not lying. That's the last name.
Are you new here, Wraithron?
Relatively. You know, they've had me doing simple things.
Like what?
Front gates.
When?
Why, just earlier this day. Well, earlier. Why, have you heard about the couple that, the couple prisoners we just got? I mean, I was the one that caught them.
Is that so?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Marked them right away.
Wraithron. Good work. Excellent
Well,
work.
thank you.
He smiles at you. I suppose I am a bit wary, but ever on duty. But some of the other men, they might like to go stretch their legs a bit. I suppose, if you wished, could take over a shift, just briefly, maybe 15-20 minutes, and allow a couple of the boys to walk outside and maybe stretch their legs.
Perfect. It does me... It feels great knowing that I'll be able to continue to make sure that these captives we've caught stay in their cells. I know, I'm starting to lay it on a little too thick.
Very good. Very good.
Fucking overdo it.
He nods and says, Morton, Bowery, why don't we go upstairs, huh? Give you a nice break. You've been the ones doing this the longest. I imagine a brief break won't bother you. I'll walk you up, my friends. The rest of you stay down here and keep an eye on things. I'll be returning shortly. And Guard Captain Morton and Lowry all turn, and they head up. They begin walking out the doorway into the barracks. They close the door behind him. Keesby, did you follow? Are you raiding in the dungeon area, or are you staying back in the barracks area?
I think he was
What
in
do
my
you mean in the
cloak.
dungeon area?
Right. Alright. The three of them walk into the barracks. Close the door behind them. The other three guards continue sort of... They're a little bit more alert now, no longer playing cards. They instead sort of are slightly bored, but they stand at the ready.
Oh, no, don't do that on my account. Go back to your game.
Well, I was about to win a pretty fair amount of money. And the three of them argue a little bit and go back to their game.
Hold on. I'd actually walk up to it and, can I slap my hand down and be like, you know, this looked a little fun, and I just want to see if I can sneak one card away.
Or make a sleight of hand.
Who knew it was Reed holding Lou back all along?
Oh, fuck. That's a 7. I'm gonna play it off as if I was just looking at the cards.
Alright.
Fine craftsmanship on these.
They clearly, their eyes see, you feel their eyes on you as they trace your hand as you pull the card back, and you just play it off. As one of them takes the card back and says, yes, we do have excellent craftsmanship down here in the Feywild, don't we?
I wanted to start a fight.
Alright.
Do we have our stuff?
No, all of your stuff was taken from you.
Hang on. Follow-up question. Did they take everything?
They would have taken everything. Unless you want to sleight of hand something that would be small on your person.
Put the whole Ashen Inquisitor in your anus.
The Ashen Inquisitor is like the size of this knife, right?
It's an urn. It's probably
No, Colin explicitly said it is small enough that I can hold it in my hand.
It is small enough to hold in your hand. Not you can't
so it's like a butt plug.
You can't completely like palm it away. It does stick out the top and bottom, but it is small.
What do you
Okay,
think?
because I thought he was actually putting his hand inside the urn, and there was like a handle in there.
The handle, the ashes wrap around my hand to form a basket hilt rapier, and the handle is the wooden part of that rapier, which is still like the coolest thing. Oh god, that session was so cool.
All right, that
So
is
sad I
small
failed
enough.
that.
That is small enough. You could try to sleight of hand that on your person, but it is. You can do one, basically try to sleight of hand something small like that, and only probably one or two things.
I want to try and sleight of hand the Ashen Inquisitor and my Ring of Identify.
Alright, give me, since you're doing 2 items, I'd say give me a sleight of hand with disadvantage.
Ooh, spicy.
11.
Alright. A quick-eyed guard, when they were pulling you down, caught the Ring of Identify, but did not catch the Ashen Inquisitor.
Oh, that sucks for him, let me tell you.
The more obvious and garish thing, the ring is what caught his eye. Likely a little bit of glitter. The very simple Ashen Inquisitor's urn is That's
What about the necklace? Do I get my holy symbol or no?
all of it gone.
Just so sad that I failed that one sleight of hand.
Can I even cast spells if I don't have my holy symbol?
Theoretically, no. But
Yeah, if I don't have any components for him and I don't have my holy symbol, I'm fucked. Oh my god, I'm a fighter.
Okay. I want to sneak a caterpillar cocoon in.
I
sure,
left that in my other anus.
make a sleight of hand.
Oh, that's
Did
a
I read
religion
that?
check.
What
Well,
is
that's pretty good.
religion but a sleight of hand?
Oh, well,
True. 18.
I am very deep.
you
Sure,
are
super edgy,
stripped
too.
down to your little more than your clothing and given a rough, sacked cloth sort of tunic to cover yourself. In doing so, you try to slide a cocoon away, and you almost get away with it, trying to tuck it into a small, into the folds of your burlap tunic. One of the guards sort of grabs your wrist and says, "What, you think we weren't paying attention?" As he rolled a 19 against your sleight of hand. So he does catch the cocoon.
That's so fucking tragic. That's fine.
Sometimes that's how the dice roll.
Well, shit.
So
Time to look at my spells that don't have components.
you've got the Ashen Inquisitor. You do have a rapier, and it still works because that is a not a Green Lady weapon. That is a Saint Cuthbert weapon. His presence is fully here, even if the Green Lady is not.
Colin, I'll be honest, I didn't know that until you said that, and I was really nervous to see if this thing would even work.
No, it is. You already felt that Saint Cuthbert's presence was as strong as ever.
Oh, that's true, I suppose.
Alright. Reed. Easby. The men go about their cards. They're still paying attention.
Do I hear or see any keys?
Roll a perception check.
Dear fuck. I really wish my perception was in a plus fucking 2.
No. You don't see any keys, and you search them pretty well, checking the walls, checking the belts. You get the feeling. However, you do hear a faint jingling on the other side of the door, the barracks.
With the head guard, naturally.
Oh.
Good roll, bro.
Are the what you call it? But I can see. Can I see Ito and Aruna?
You. Hold on, let me double check. You have dark vision as a quick. Because the back area is cast in darkness. They can see you because you're by torches, essentially.
Yes, I do have dark vision.
All right, you can see, at sort of towards the back. Normally they'd be hidden in darkness, but you can see Aruna and Ito in adjacent cells. Both have been stripped of their armor and their weaponry and given little more than basically burlap sack tunics.
Hey, Colin, can I just test something?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to make it super obvious. Can I just even try to cast an illusion in the cell? Like, just to myself, like in the palm of my hand?
You can try. You don't have...
Yeah, I just wanted to see if it actually works or
you
not.
don't have any spell components on you, so they have to be componentless, one of the componentless.
Let me make sure. Oh yeah, okay, so I can't do that one specifically. So it's verbal somatic for mage hand. Can I just try to like mage hand, like stealthily, so the guards don't see? I just want to see if spells work or not, or if the cell's like anti-magic or some shit.
Within
I'll do the same with prestidigitation.
within the cell itself, you are actually able to. Well, what exactly do you do?
I just want to like face the corner and make the mage hand like in the corner,
Right.
like where they can't see it necessarily.
You do. turn and cast Mage Hand, and it does appear briefly, and moves towards you. It flickers slightly, but it does form.
Okay. Alrighty, you can go back to Keysby action. I was just curious.
Same for you, Ito. If you cast Prestidigitation, what are you just like going to a corner and casting it?
If I could. Okay, hang on. Just to confirm, we're in adjacent cells, so we can't see each other, right?
You cannot see
That was actually
each
something
other.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah,
They're
are
next to
we
each other, not
facing each
across.
other or next to each
You're
other?
in adjacent cells. You cannot see each other.
There's a single wall between us.
Beside,
There's a single
yes.
wall between you.
If I could, can I see the guards?
Yes, they are illuminated. They're about 100, well, probably about 100 feet down the road way.
Can I use Prestidigitation to try and clean a bit of tile just outside the bars of my cell?
Right. You focus on the tile just outside your cell. You hold it up. You can see, even feel the magic exude from you, and as soon as it hits the iron bars, or not the iron bars, but the mithril bars, it just dissipates and fails.
Yeah, okay.
It seems
And,
that magic will not bypass. It has been enchanted to stop magic from entering or leaving it.
There goes my idea. Well, even so, real quick, what's my cell accommodations? What do we have going on?
A small wooden cot that has a little bit of a threadbare blanket. 2 buckets, one that is empty, one that is filled with water and has a ladle.
If I could, I would go over to that wooden cot and I would grab a bit of wood off of it, and with like my fingernails, or maybe the Ashen Inquisitor, and some string.
Okay.
I will slip that on. I'm assuming we're clothed in some fashion.
You have rough burlap tunics.
Okay, then I will slip that onto my person.
All right.
That's it. Keysby.
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 You did
Nick,
hear
you
a
said you would do the voice.
Keysby.
You did hear a faint jingle of keys from beyond the door, but that's about it. And these people definitely don't have it on them, and you definitely did not see it on the walls.
And the cells are barred. They're not like solid walls.
The cells, the outer wall is barred, but the walls separating cells are solid walls made of a stone, and that seems to glisten slightly with a strange metallic color. At this point, it's been probably a few minutes since the guards have left. As you've taken time to look around and get in your surroundings and check and see, you see Ito and Aruna are there and that sort of thing. The guards themselves have not noticed you, however.
Okay. Where was the can I see where the main dude was sitting at?
He was sitting at a nearby table. You can see where the chair was pushed out. I mean, you don't. You do see where he was sitting, but nothing comes to eye that he had keys or anything there.
No, I know. I just want to. I want to go hide right near where he was sitting previously.
Give me a stealth check.
Oh boy. Hell yeah, 23.
Alright. You find yourself, you tuck yourself in a nice little corner. It's quite dim here. There are torches that are lit, but the flickering of the light, the nearby table shadow gives you at least a corner to hide in. There's a couple of things like boxes and stuff that you're able to hide behind as well. You get a pretty fair hiding place.
Cool.
So, I'm sorry, just the literal layout of this room is bugging me. So we're in cells adjacent to each other.
Yes,
There's
adjacent.
down down the way. And are we down a hall?
You're
from
down
them?
a hallway, 120 feet down.
Can we see the door?
Can you see the door? Yes, you can see them.
And did we by any chance notice Keysby, or did he come in as we were trying our magic tricks?
Keysby, chances are you would not have noticed because he is super stealthy, and they would have noticed him as well. You have seen Haythorn.
Got it. Okay.
Haythorn, is there anything you want to do? You know the guards are supposed to be coming back soon from their rest.
Honestly, I kind of failed at my plan. So, I'm just gonna take a stroll down there and make sure, everything's set down in the cells. And I'm gonna head down the hallway.
Alright.
I'm so...
You head
I
into the-
wish it...
You head into the darkness, and like I said, you walk past these iron bars every cell towards the end, where Aruna and Ito are held in adjacent cells. The two of them looking somewhat pitiful, their burlap sack tunics, their pee buckets, hopefully not to get mixed up with their water buckets.
Hmm.
All right. Are they the only two prisoners here?
Yes.
And the other guards are all 120 feet away. They wouldn't really be hearing me if I said anything.
Yes, they're about 100 feet away. They're...
On that note, before Highhorn, is that the name Highhorn?
Hayhorn.
Hayhorn. Before Hayhorn comes away, can I try and whistle?
Sure.
Just like a tuneless, just to see if Aruna acknowledges it or the guards acknowledge it at all.
Well, how loudly do you whistle?
I know Aruna's in the cell, one cinder block wall on the other side of me.
Yeah.
If I know that, then very softly, but in a way that she could tell it's not a natural sound.
Make
So
a
just
performance. It's low, but it's distinct. It doesn't seem to have caught the... Look, you do see one guard kind of glance over. Maybe he thought he heard something, but he quickly just sort of goes back and lowers his head back to the cards. Aruna, however, you do hear it pretty clearly, and definitely not a natural sound.
Okay. I assume they took my brace off of me too, right?
Yes.
Ah, shit.
Everything.
Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah. Full disclosure, if they're taking my rings, these guys aren't slouches.
Yeah, unfortunate.
And I will add, you did not see where they took them. There is not like a chest nearby that has your stuff in it. It's not being stored here within the cell itself. Possibly within the barracks area, but not directly here in the prison area.
Okay. No, I already have proof that magic doesn't work.
Jesus, that dog.
What happens if I try and put my hand through the bars?
As you put
I would
as you
try and
push
put
your
my hand
as you push your hand to the bars, it feels like you're pushing, or like through an opening, it feels like you're trying to push through like a viscous jelly almost, where you're able to push your hands out, but it feels like something, it's at the same time trying to yank you back with. Again, some sort of protective magic that keeps you from just pushing your hands out as well.
Oh, I'm done.
Alright. Hey Horn, you walk down and see them. Just in time to see Ito. He does he manages to push his hands out, but you can almost see an aura or some sort of wall that is being bent slightly as he tries to push his hands out. Not just physical
just gonna roll his
protections,
eye.
magical protections as well. Ahorn would probably understand this as well. All the walls are the bars are mithril. They've got walls of force that are over them as well. They also the interior walls are actually stone, and then it has a layer of lead between the stones, about 3 inches thick.
Hayhorn will just go to Aruna's cell, and he's gonna let her know, look, we do not have much time left. The head guard will be back in a couple of minutes. I have no way of getting you out of this cell.
He's speaking to Aruna specifically.
Yeah. Okay. So is there like a physical or magical lock to these, Colin?
Oh, no.
You can make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Don't need to know to cast magic to do that.
Yeah. 17.
The answer is yes.
Well, when you're out of ideas.
Um,
What I'm saying is, if you have some emergency escape, you should use it now.
They're not slouches on their security.
It's not gonna be fucking quiet.
do I hear that?
Probably.
Well then, get out and get out fast.
Knock knock.
Yeah, knock knock. Can I prepare a spell?
Sure.
Can I prepare an unseen servant to lay prostrate upon the walkway when I hear 2 knocking sounds?
Theoretically, if you can cast it.
Requires a bit of wood and string. And you said it was a wooden cot.
Yes.
Alright. Well, I don't even know if this is gonna fucking work, but at this point, I'll point my fingertips at the locking mechanism and I will cast Knock, as it is a verbal component spell only,
Alright.
and attempt to blow the door open. Or disable the lock.
We're going to die.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You look down at it, sort of eyeing it. You place your hand close to it. The door clicks slightly as you cast the knock spell.
Okay. So it just made a clicking sound?
It make a clicking sound.
Okay, so it didn't make the typical loud knock sound.
It did not. It seems something about the cell being you're trying to cast it has muffled it or largely negated the knock. That being said, it still made a sound.
Okay, I'll just fucking try the door.
Alright. The door holds for a moment, and then it gives way as it slowly creaks open.
Okay. Kind of using Hayhorn as cover, can I kind of like stealth crouch out of the cell?
Sure.
Okay. It's bad, boys. This is the game of Aruna having critical fails.
Tommy failed so bad he's not even in the shot anymore.
I'm so disappointed.
Got stage yanked off the
Clangity, clang, clang, clack.
Oh well.
Keysby, do me a favor. Roll a perception check for me.
Oi.
Stop making me roll perception checks, Colin. I can't do that.
All the
You do
little
hear
rolls now.
a quiet click, but it doesn't seem like the guards have noticed their head. They keep their heads firmly planted down, looking at the cards.
Hmm.
If Aruna's walking past this cell, I'm gonna try and reach out and touch her.
Once again, your hands are held back slightly by this strange wall, and you do manage to brush against her before you're pushed back within the cell.
Somebody's at my door. My dogs are going ballistic. If I make physical contact with her, I touch protection from good and evil.
Oh, thanks.
Right.
Okay. So, Hayhorn, are you sticking with me?
As far as I can.
Okay. Well, it's gonna suck because Connor's not here. I'll burn another second level and knock Connor's door to you.
Alright. There's also the same clicking sound where it pauses for a moment, as if waiting, and then it opens slightly.
I knocked your door.
Oh, okay.
The door's open.
So me. Okay, hang on. Let me cast protection from evil and good since I said I was gonna do that.
Certain types of aberrations, celestial, just okay. That's real good.
10 minutes. Last 10 minutes.
Fair.
Alright.
Ooh, wait a minute. Can I cast that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't it require materials?
Mine says it doesn't. But hold on.
Well, I'm seeing on
Yeah,
Foundry it says
requires holy water.
verbal, somatic, and material.
Yeah, never mind. It requires holy water, and I don't have any. So disregard. Can't cast that.
That's fair. So these bastards haven't noticed us.
Their heads are turned down to the cards, focusing on them.
Oh,
Christ.
disregard. I can't cast that either. It's attached to the loot.
Okay.
But I will cast Unseen Servant, like down the hall, in between us and them.
Okay.
So presumably, unless we're hooded or something, we know we came through a fucking guards barracks on the way down here, right?
Yes.
Okay, and are there no other entrances or
It's
exits?
the one way in and out is through the guards barracks. Up through the guards barracks, up to the first floor and out.
Christ, okay. Alrighty, what's the fucking plan?
I don't know. I was prepared to die up until about 5 seconds ago.
I thought we were gonna die the moment we stepped in here, to be honest with you.
That's your dad. He's like 3 feet off the ground.
Well, you tell him next time and watch him fucking disintegrate your ass.
He needs to get in line, to be honest.
You guys really infiltrated this place without any sort of escape.
Our escape plan was a 2-foot-tall needle man. We don't know where the fuck he is.
Cool. Oh, fuck. Okay, do we try to take
they-
the guards, or do we try
If
to
they,
sneak past
if
them?
I hear, or okay, if I see like Lou moving over the cell trying to guard Aruna moving, and I feel like I would witness something about this over there, I'm gonna just bolt over to them. You want me to make a stealth check for that, Colin?
Sure.
It's gonna go badly. It's actually a pretty shitty roll for you.
Their heads remain down.
I'm gonna use lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Their hands.
Would that count as me getting to choose the 29, or do you want me to roll?
You'd roll again. Yeah.
Okay. Choose the 17.
Yeah.
Their heads remain low, down at the cards. You do see one kind of fidgets in his chair and sort of scratches at his ear and sort of glances over where you moved before turning back down to go and look at the cards.
Okay.
Alright. Ita, we flight or we fight.
Hang on, I'm gonna cast message on Aruna.
Okay.
Does that work?
Well,
Don't
you need the components for it?
I hate having no only symbol and no components.
Yeah, I say it's like copper wire or some shit for
Oh my
sending.
god, this is awful.
They're literally not fucking paying attention to us. We need to decide now: do we sneak past them, or do we try to take them and then get out?
I feel like if we take them, we just die tired, right?
That's fair. Oh, you don't have your armor. That means you don't have disadvantage.
No, I'm a very sneaky boy right now.
All right, we're gonna try to sneak towards the door, I guess.
All right, make a stealth check.
Ah, damn it!
Oh Jesus!
Fuck me!
Dude, these are like such bad rolls for me.
I gotta die. The one time I don't have disadvantage on stealth and I get a fucking 2.
Wait, Nick. No, Nick. This is unbelievable. This is unparalleled rolls.
Nick has a plus 11 to stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
That's
Why not?
very sneaky.
All right.
Cool has a
And-
plus 12 to stuff.
And I think with like the cloak or the boots or whatever, he always has advantage.
Is that true?
Generally,
Isn't it the
yes.
boots of elven kind?
Got
Oh.
magical items on you that let you do that.
Oh, well then fuck me. I
And
would have fucking rolled a 29.
you've not been stripped of any of that, so
Oh,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I got 23. It's fine.
you've not
For
been
me,
Yeah, if
captured.
you got the boots of elven kind, you also have advantage on dexterity stealth checks that rely on moving silently.
Oh, then yeah, I've been killing these rolls. Fuck that.
You slowly
you guys, I'm
sneak
gone.
forward. The guards
Oh right, that.
looking pointedly down at their cards, and as you get closer and closer, I want you to roll an insight check.
Me? Or...
All of you.
Okay, that's a good roll finally.
Oh,
23.
okay, I figured this out. 11.
I am not insightful at all.
As you get closer and closer, Aruna, you can see the guards looking down at the cards, fidgeting slightly, and you see them. They have a nervous nature about them, and you almost realize the jig is up. They absolutely know what's happening, and they've been pretending not to see things for a while.
Fair.
They've been pointedly keeping their eyes down at the cards, but you can see the way they shuffle, the way that they're not actually playing the game, they just have their face focused down at the cards, looking at the hands, every now and then glancing up. They know
So
something's
pissed that's why
wrong.
the hand didn't work earlier.
It's entirely fair.
And yet they're not moving to intercept you or stop you at all.
Fucking weird. I don't like it. I don't like that more than them stopping us.
Does Aruna voice this opinion to me?
It's not good.
Tommy just came, I think, a little bit.
See,
I'll
one of things. Either
I'll hold and I'll tell Hayhord that I think he just became a captive.
Yep. Either he wants me to bring you guys up, or he was trying to see whether or not I was as truthful as I was being.
Where is Keysby physically at the moment?
Where is Keysby?
Amongst you guys.
Alright, so you're down in the darkness of the tunnel.
If I could, I'll message Keysby.
Can you message?
Or
We've established you cannot.
Fuck. I will whisper like a plebeian to Keesby, and I will say, "Did you see where they put our things?"
So I just shake
So
my
I-
head.
Fortunately, he didn't see.
So they're straight up just waiting to spring the fucking trap on us, is what you're saying, Colin.
I don't think they need to spring anything. I don't think we're going to be able to cross the threshold.
That's fair.
Fuck it. I'm just going to walk up.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Losing any
I'll walk up and say, "Hey lads, you got room for one more better?"
losing any pretense of stealth, the guards lift their heads and look at you, and they're not at all surprised to see you. They do stand, and look at you, and your group stands at theirs and stares at them. And then they sort of reach to the door and knock on it.
I had a necklace about this big. Would if I could get that back.
The door opens, and you can see the guard captain stride through it. He's roused the barracks. They all stand ready, a score of soldiers. As he walks forward, and he looks at Rathron and says, "You know what you said? That fucked you up."
If he's even remotely taking his guys off of us, I'm going to try and whisper to Keesby to run.
Don't know what you're talking about, sir.
You know,
I'm just a simple triple agent. Just trying to see if I can suss out exactly who their other contacts are.
yes. Is that going to go with your story of how you're on guard duty this very morning, despite the fact that I make every guard duty and inspect it every day? Or did you think that was something that just happened? That we just chose guards at random?
Well, I'll admit I was hoping you had a little bit more muscle than mind, but
I've been doing this for a long time. Longer than you've been alive.
well, it sounds like it's about time for you to retire then.
How?
Maybe after
How-
a couple more executions.
Ah, shit. How small is this room, Colin?
The barracks is quite small.
Okay. So
Well,
are they
no-
all coming in through the doorway, like through the same hallway?
No, he's the only one that came through. They're all just waiting ready. Weapons drawn. But the guard captain continues speaking.
Okay.
You know how else you messed up? You gave me an easy person to talk to. Atlas. All I had to do was go check on him to confirm your story, which he absolutely did confirm. However, you're also supposed to be waiting outside his door, which you are not. Isn't that right, my lord? He turns to the stairs and Atlas sort of comes down it. His eyes sort of narrowing. That is right. I tell you, Captain, you better find a better rabble than this lot to guard me, while my family will leave. You can find a Snow Queen in someone else.
I'll whisper to Aruna that her dad's totally cucking the Gloaming King.
I'll let out a little giggle loud enough for everyone to hear, and I'll cast Storm Sphere on top of them.
Yes!
He casts Counterspell.
Yep.
Can I counterspell his counterspell?
You can.
I've ventured to guess he's got a lot more counters
yes.
than you do.
We're playing Magic now, I see.
This is truly Gary Gygax.
So we have one reaction, so we can only counterspell one turn at a time. So
The only problem, he's not the only mage here.
I'm aware.
As, the guard captain himself just snaps his finger and says, "That's enough!"
With my hands like clapped like I was gonna cast, I'll be like, well, it was worth a fucking try.
Have I noticed if Keesby's run away yet?
He didn't run.
Keysby.
I do hide though.
Keysby is probably smarter than that. Keysby, your chances of passing through this barracks is low, but hiding is still pretty good. Their eyes are all focused on Ito and Aruna, Ahorn. There's a lot of people you'd have to get around. That being said,
Fuck.
you can find it's pretty easy to
I was
find
gonna say I'm about to try and do something to get him out.
a nestled away hiding spot, and they don't seem to notice you.
I get underneath one of the chairs and I'm like, Mission Impossible underneath the actual seat of the chair.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you nicely to return to your cells. You too, Mr. Rathrin.
Well, I
Wraithrin,
suppose if the
whatever
jig's
you
up,
are.
you should use my real name, Rifkin.
I know who Rivkin is.
Damn.
I made the guard list. I know the people on guard. I don't appreciate you insulting me as if I'm some sort of fool.
I would have made the same claim, boss.
Please
Well.
disrobe.
Well, you know, I don't know about you, but I don't fancy sitting around in a cell waiting to die. So if we're gonna get executed, just get it the fuck over with.
That is not my call to make. That is the call of the Moonlit King. He will pass summary judgment on you.
Mm.
Perhaps he'll find the goodness in his heart to merely exile you bare into the wilds. We'll have a chance. I doubt it.
I mean, either one of those options is better than hearing you talk much longer.
Well then, alleviate yourself of that burden, return to your cells, and I'll be about my business. If you don't do it soon, I'm only going to leave you one bucket.
Ito thinks that he legitimately does not understand what that means. I will wait until Aruna moves.
Well,
Don't be a fool,
See-
daughter. There's no reason to bring more shame upon this family than you already have.
well, one, we're not a family because you're a piece of shit, and two, all the shame really comes from you. So I'm just following in your footsteps.
Given that Ito has historical evidence based on the last few days' endeavors, can Ito confirm that the looks that Aruna possesses come from her mother?
Okay? Aruna, would
I
you
would
say
say-
you fade for your mother or your father?
Is father dearest fuck ugly?
Say father dearest is fuck ugly, but yes,
Yes.
on the mother's side specifically.
Extremely powerful, but fuck ugly.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, really, the reason I came here was just to see if there's even a chance of talking you out of your bullshit. Or talking anyone out of their bullshit. That doesn't seem to be a thing. And I can't fucking upfront fight you. And I'm sure the Moonlit King will probably just cut my head off anyway. So, just fucking get it over with.
He sort of laughs.
If you're willing to sit here and crush me, then fucking do it.
Stop me from what? As the Winter Court grows, so do our powers. We're linked, see. Do you wish us to grow weak and frail? Or do you wish us to enter a golden age? An era of unmatched power?
Well, better than beating your wife and kids into fucking submission. Not a very good way of going about it. We did kill a fellow, I don't know if you've heard of him, called the Redeemer, who's a lot like you, and I fear you're going to become like him.
The Redeemer could string a sentence together, though.
Well, at the very least, you may not have to be around. See it. As he sort of lifts his hand and it begins to glow faintly, the finger glowing with pulsating energy. And at the same time, the guard captain turns around, counterspells that as well. A sort of annoyed look on his face. And he does successfully counterspell it, as he says, "Again, it is for the Moonlit King to decide. Not you, not them, not me. Those are the rules. You are a guest in this household, within this court."
Seems like you're on a short leash, Father.
Damn!
I'll hear no more words between you. I'm already annoyed. As I said, return to your cell, or you will be dragged to your cell.
I would ask the guardsman a question as I'm walking back.
You're free to ask it, but he doesn't have to answer it.
Does your king know that his court is poisoned? Friends don't often make demands in my royal court unless they have something planned for themselves. Just something to think about, and I will go to my cell.
He doesn't say anything. As you go to your cell, he waves his hand, and the doors shut. They hear a locking sound.
I'd like to slide my hand out again through the cell and be like, no, seriously, it's like a little wooden necklace. It's like this big. Please.
He looks at you. Wooden necklace.
It's about yay big.
And what's it look like?
What does it look like?
Yes.
It's a leather thong cable with a triangular prism with one face filled in. The other two are blank.
Right. Why do you want this necklace?
Why do I want it? Did he ask me why I want it?
Yes.
Be told, it's the only thing in mine that has any real value to me. Everything else is gold and jewel bullshit. This is from a good friend that I served with. You can cast Identify on it. I'm sure you have the capability. It has, to my knowledge, no magical significance whatsoever.
More to you than gold and jewel.
At the moment, yeah. Gold and jewels don't seem to be worth too much right about now.
He reaches in his pocket, takes out a gold coin, waves his hand over the bars, and is able to flip the coin through. Then take this gold piece and suffer without your precious symbol.
Ito, it's probably up his ass.
Hey, if it means anything, this means I profited on this stupid journey. And I'll take it and I'll bite it and I'll put it in my burlap
Your prison
pocket.
your prison purse.
Yes.
He's not interested in giving anything back to you.
It was worth a shot. But remember what
He actually seems quite ready.
But remember what I said. I don't know much about your, but I know courts.
Fine, I'll meet you on the b-ball court.
Did we? Oh fuck.
Rathron.
Was Keysby at least able to get out?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'll just go back to my cell. There was a lot of counter spelling going on.
I'm still hiding underneath the chair.
He's still hidden away. Nobody's noticed him.
Get out of here, you little midget.
You do see an opportunity. As they're all led down, the guard captain is focusing on them as well as most of the guards. You have the opportunity to slip out. There are still people in the barracks, but they are a little bit less on guard now that the threat has been kind of contained.
I'm gonna try.
Hey, you hear that? We're a threat.
Alright, give me a stealth check.
22.
Is Hayhorn still in the hallway?
Hayhorn's probably going to be put in a cell.
Hayhorn has been apprehended as well. He was told to strip down.
Yep. I thought it was a good performance.
Well, his insight was really good, and also you said something that gave him advantage on that insight check because you gave him specific knowledge of something he would know about. He knew all the he makes all the guards. He inspects them every morning, and you would not have been able to be there during the day. I mean, morning, quote unquote, but you would not have been able to be there because you were, you know, traveling with your contacts. So, speaking with them, that sort of thing. Also, he was able to go talk to Atlas.
Okay.
So he was able to get to the bottom of that story. Sometimes it happens.
What cell's Hayhorn in?
Directly adjacent to you. So you're 1, 2, 3.
So,
Alright.
Ito,
Alright.
Arun, Hayhorn.
Yep.
So I'll be like, Hayhorn.
Hayhorn, if
Can
you
you
would
hear
like
me?
to try to sleight of hand something when they strip you, can. Has to be small, like
I
a
don't really
dagger
have-
or a knife or.
Lou, don't
Really have
don't be
to do
modest.
that
Fuck,
one.
look at your sheet and think of something.
I'll call out. Hayhorn, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, there's
Hey.
literally nothing in here that would.
Hey, Colin, can Hayhorn hear me if I call to him?
Sure.
Or the cells
I mean,
magic?
I'm right next to you, so yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're-
well, I was just trying to figure out. Okay, so
Oh
it's,
no, Hayhorn's on the other side of me, right?
I feel bad. We brought Cody in, and like,
Well, we're getting to him, don't worry.
All right,
Almost
so
like a-
Hayhorn.
It'll take a dragon to get us out of here.
This is really important, Hayhorn, since we're going to be spending so much time together in these fucking cells because these cowards won't execute us. Do you know any really obnoxious songs we can sing at top volume to ruin these guards' card game? And I will begin to belt out a drunken song of some sort and not shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Just fuck these guys.
Pretty
well,
simple.
unfortunately, my poet friend isn't here.
Well, just scream or something.
Pretty simple solution,
pretty-
unfortunately. The
Hey,
guard,
Tutu!
the guard captain
Skate!
casts silence on the cells.
Oh, look at that. That has
Fuck
a
you,
spell.
Shorzy.
Alright.
Balls and tug, you tit fuckers.
Unfortunately, your Raucus doesn't last long, as
Yeah,
He's
well,
able
we
to
got a
su-
smile out of Colin. I saw that.
he is able to silence the cells.
Alright, well, I'll just wait here to fucking die, I guess.
I want to take a. I want to find like
Colin, did I get out with a...
You got out, yes, you absolutely got out. But the guard captain says, "Keep it up, and I'll make sure you're blinded within there as well."
I want to take like something sharp or whatever that I can find, and I want to start carving that the gloaming king sucks cocks and dicks on the gold coin I got.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's able to cast silence on the cells, and he's able to cast darkness over it if he wants to as well. He doesn't keep the silence up forever. Eventually he does drop it, saying, "Now if you'll be good boys and girl, I'll let you talk amongst yourselves." But he keeps, from then on, from this failed attempt to free Ito and Aruna, he keeps a pretty steady vigil. Increases the guards to 8. Spends 12-hour shifts down there himself. Seeming to enjoy sort of being quite petty. To make sure
What do you
that...
need, you troglodyte?
You're a bit of a dumbass. And then I don't say it.
Keesby, you've managed to get out.
Senor. I want to try and find where the Moonlit King is.
That's a risky game you're playing, Nick, but I like it.
It takes some time. I'm gonna say, Ito, Aruna, Ahorn, you languish in these cells for what feels like 3 days. You fall asleep, wake up, spend time around the cell, fall asleep, wake up, spend time around the cell. Really, the only turning of time is them coming in to replace your bathroom buckets and your water buckets, give you a little bit of stale but surprisingly sweet bread. And during this time, Keysby, you see there are feasts to be held. All above you, the court of the Moonlit King gathers and hold extravagant dances, extravagant festivals, each one with a different theme. On the first night, it is basically the phases moon, where everyone comes in differently colored garbs, some black, some white, some shades of gray. They wear masks that depict the phase of the moon. The next one, lunar eclipse. The night after that, quite simply called the snowball, where the sky seems to be crowded with ice crystals and snow that glistens down from the... It's on this third night that you finally get your first glimpse of the Moonlit King. He stands looking rather bored next to what appears to be Atlas, Kamaria, and one other Moonborn. This one, a boy that has a extremely cruel looking face. He seems to sneer at everyone. People move away from him. It's on this night that there is the grandest feast of all, held within the actual grand hall, the Great Hall, the Moonlit Court, a place where none had been before, at least none that you had seen during your time here. The Great Hall itself has dozens of massive tables, seating enough for thousands of people. Enough food to feed a small town passing through the doorway. And at the top of the room, elevated on what appear to be a mound of snow, 2 thrones. One made of white marble, one made of black granite.
Oh, fuck, they're gay.
The Moonlit King sits on the white marble throne, wears a crown. Silver, diamonds that sparkle like the sunlight. The black granite stone sits empty, but leaning up against it there is a 2-handed, crescent-bladed sword, sitting as if it's waiting for an owner to claim it.
Alan's slowly scanning the videos to see if anybody looked over the prophecy when he said that. It's on stanza 3.
You're on stanza 3, you nerd.
It's mostly a ladrin here. But there is an honored guest. Not just the Moonborn who sit at their own small circular table. The mother, father, the young man with a cruel face. There is what appears to be a man with blue eyes and gray hair and silver-rimmed glasses, and he seems nervous to be here.
A human man?
It appears to be human. This is someone you've seen around the court for the past 2 days. He's been kind of skulking, talking to guards, talking to kitchen staff. Never any of the particularly high-ranking nobles. He's always kept his head down.
Did I hear anybody say a name of his?
They called him, Nelly.
Nelly.
Furtado?
If you wanted to, you could you can see a maid comes up to him, and he gets up and sort of walks away and leans in close to ask her a question.
Can I try and listen in on that?
Roll a stealth check. Get up to him.
Ooh, 17. Actually, I'm gonna use lucky before you say anything. Beaches. Lucky. Roll. 26.
All right. Through the din of the crowd and the sort of people together making merriment, you're able to weave between legs, eventually making your way toward this gentleman. You can hear he's slightly isolated himself away, a little bit nervous. He leans into the kitchen staff and says, "Just need to know. Human and Unel. I know that they came. Know where they."
Does he sit back down after saying so?
The woman sort of says, "Everything I know. I heard something about him being held in the cells, but I didn't get the information you wanted. I didn't see any of them carrying no holy symbols or nothing about that. Look, I've got jobs to do. You're considered an honored guest as an envoy of the material plane. Shouldn't be talking. Please don't ask me anything else." As she drops her head and quickly darts away.
What is this guy wearing?
He is wearing what appears to be silver robes.
That's our boy.
I'm gonna like slide as I stall. I'm gonna slide underneath his robes and like not Morris.
Give him a hand.
Was he speaking common?
He was speaking Sylvan. He
Sylvan.
said that.
So in Sylvan, I'm like I did for Lou. I'm gonna write on like his leg or something. I know where they are.
He jumps a little bit as he does so. But
Yeah, that's just not comfortable.
you hear a voice that says, "Who are you?" And it goes in your head. He's sending messages.
Is it sending or message?
He can. Well, he's powerful enough to have sending pretty easily at his beck and call.
That's what I'm asking. Can I respond
Yes,
to
you
it
can.
or
You can
no?
respond. Yes.
Okay. In my mind, I'm Keesby. I'm a friend of theirs. I know where they are.
Yeah, that's a point. Does message have like a ding that sending doesn't? Is there an indicator of which spell is which when you receive the message?
I don't think so.
Point. You have to be pointed at
All right.
for message.
Meet me after the feast, outside of this.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna stay right where I am, and I will follow. I won't look up. I promise.
You keep getting.
It was hard enough.
You keep getting smacked in the face.
Oh no! I just started boxing Snap.
The feast passes, and the man sort of says, "I'm not feeling well. It's a bit of a change of scenery for what I'm used to. It's different food, different climb. If you don't mind, I might retire and go for a bit of a walk. We'll continue to discuss matters of alliance at a later point." And he gets up, and you sort of cling between his legs as you feel the air change as he moves from inside to outside as it grows colder. And you walk for a while before you hear the sound of snow crunching underfoot. And there's a pause as he sort of lifts up his robe, and you're outside the court. He glances around nervously, making sure there are no guards watching. You can see off in the distance, near the front gate, both the guards sort of sit dumbfounded. They're slack-jawed a little bit as if they're dozing. He says, "Don't have a lot of time. They'll wake up eventually." I'm afraid I'm burning through what spells I have quite quickly.
Well, I can lead you to them, but they're back there, and unless you know of some other way to get there.
Right now, I'm just looking for confirmation. A holy symbol. Does one of them have a holy symbol? One
Yes.
depicting what appears to be a man and a cudgel. Its face
Yes.
of a woman in it. The other a
I
moon
don't-
elf, missing an arm.
Well, she's not missing an arm. She had a funny brace.
Yes, yes. He nods his
And
head. Exactly the ones. I have things that I must take care of. I'm going to be back. Hear me. Tell them that. Tell them that they need to be ready.
They're to be executed soon. So when should they be prepared for you?
Tell them they need to be ready to go at any point in time. I can't overplay my hand.
Can do.
I were to reveal myself as having ulterior motives. Oh, that very well could make an enemy. My
Could I?
people that we don't need right now.
Do you have a name I could give them?
They'll know me by Gen.
Okay.
That
will-
is a name you must keep to yourself.
Of course.
There are many
I
here
will-
that may recognize that.
I will only speak it to them.
Tell them to be ready.
And I will. Is he going back to the
He
the
returns
house, or is
back
he
to the
gonna-
feast.
So I'm gonna hide underneath his robes again, until such a point that I can, like, once he gets inside and we're on the way back to the feast, I'm gonna scoot out and try and head back to the barracks and the cells.
Make a stealth check.
17.
Right. Eventually he departs. You can hear his booming voice saying, "My good king, I'm feeling much better now. Shall we discuss business?" As he returns back to the feast, and you're able to dart away, slipping beneath very noses of the guards. Making your way into the cells themselves. There's no need to draw it out. You do manage to arrive at Ito and Aruna. They're dirty. They've lost a little bit of weight from not having been fed particularly well. Hayhorn is looking a bit thin, but still in good spirits. As you sort of slip towards them.
I go to Ito. A man. I whisper. I get up behind him, and like whisper directly in your ear. A man is here looking for you. Says his name is Gen. He says to be ready at any moment.
I'll cast Prestidigitation on my palm, and I'll make it show an image of like two people shaking hands.
And I'm gonna.
And then I'll point to the elf's cell.
Yeah, I go.
You hear a voice that in your head that says, "Find their effects. In case we need them."
I
I would
go
also,
to-
yeah,
Yeah, I I go to Aruna quickly, and I tell Aruna the same thing, and then I gotta go find your things, and I'll be right back.
Easby, these guys are fucked. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, if
He
I
wants to
have
go.
as Keesby's walking, I was like, I hope you were nice to him. I really, really hope you were nice to him.
I may have seen his penis.
All right.
And for
Keesby.
the record, given what we have a mental image of Gen, that's disturbing.
Well, he's got three forms: ancient silver dragon, late 20s attractive silver dragon, and 10-year-old boy silver dragon that he takes interchangeably. Although
Grossly equated with
he prefers
the 10-year-old.
he prefers the 10-year-old boy form because it makes people a little bit unaware. But he was not in that form this time.
But you said he's an older man, right?
He
The one I saw is
he
an
appeared
older man?
older. Older is like 29, 30 or
Okay.
so. He was not old.
Okay, I thought you meant
His
old,
hair
but
his hair
no.
is still gray, but he is that's just part of
Gray
his,
is in like grayish.
as in white gray, like Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
But
Like Anderson Cooper.
gray, beautiful white gray hair, blue eyes. But point is, you spend a little while search. It doesn't take you long to find their effects. They're held in a chest just outside. There's not a lot of searching you have to do for that. It's kept just outside the door.
Okay.
God.
Is it like is there a padlock on it, or
There
is
is
it
a
just,
padlock on it, but it seems like it's a simple iron pad. Well-made
Okay.
iron, strong, but at the very same time, just a regular padlock. Nothing exorbitantly magic like the cells themselves. Meanwhile, that's when Gen disappears back to the material plane. Retrieve a certain lizard folk. As
And you said you don't want to keep playing.
Karakwa,
Shame.
whenever you finally arrive on the plane, surrounded by the cold snow, Gen tells you the extent of the situation that he's facing, and that you're facing. Ito and Aruna have been taken, as well as an ally that was with them. There is a man on the inside, a quickling, who has managed to evade capture. He was a contact of sorts. But Gen just can't go in, guns blazing, trying to break open the cells as an ancient dragon. Not only would that potentially fail, because while he is extremely powerful, so is the Moonlit King, so is Atlas and his family, and so are the thousands of Winter Eladrin that call this court home. On top of that, there's the matter of diplomacy. Gen himself, the kingdom, the Empire of Stalreich can't afford another enemy right now. Especially one on an entirely different plane that could potentially come in out of nowhere, or seem to come from nowhere, as they transport over. They cannot afford that. So there's a matter of diplomacy. He himself can't go in guns blazing, but he can have someone be a little bit stealthy. Maybe free them, and he would have plenty of plausible deniability. He'll aid you as he can. But, well, he just can't put his foot in it that deep. He takes he's no longer in his 10-year-old boy form. He is the older 29-year-old attractive man form. Silver-rimmed glasses and blue hair. Blue eyes, white hair.
Anime.
He turns to you and says, I don't know how much you enjoy being a lizard folk. But for the moment, it might suit you to be a slightly different form. Let's just say your kind are not common on this plane, especially not in this locale.
Out of character, how common are dragons in the Feywild?
rare except for fairy dragons.
Figured as much. Let's see. Quick question.
Cody, don't
Am
you dare
I-
try and wiggle your way out of playing Karakwa pretending to be not a lizard folk. If I had to
No,
wait 3
no.
months, you don't do that.
No,
It'll be
it's what level are we supposed to be right now?
You can be at level 11.
What?
Level 11.
Level 11. Neato. I think I still have 5 hours of shapeshifting at a time with that. So let's see if it changed from 5. Did not. I tell again that I can maintain an beast animal form for 5 hours at a time, unless he has some other way to disguise me.
Well, if you wished I could cast polymorph on you, you wanted to take a slightly more humanoid form, but that comes with its own problems, I guess you could say.
That would be easier for them to dispel, to detect.
Very well could be.
I take this moment to observe my surroundings, the wildlife there, taking in the new fauna.
Surprisingly, quite a bit of snowy owls. Quite a few ravens. There's they're like small white rats that are about the size of ferrets. There's plenty of animals around. Take your choice of. And most of them aren't. Quite a few of them aren't fey. There's even some large snow, like leopard-style cats that you could take.
Okay. We want something that's more discreet. Probably a mouse, as you said, size of a ferret would probably be the best choice. Once we get closer.
I'll see that my person on the inside knows to keep a lookout for you. Quickling. I don't know how familiar you are with their type, but they're small, but bluish skin. They typically move as a blur.
I had to turn you up a little bit, I'm sorry.
He says, we do have a contact on the inside. Quickling. Small, blue, seem to have blurred movement.
Be on the lookout for him.
And I will inform him to be on the lookout for you.
What is his name?
Not sure I caught it. I can't remember. Regardless, I'll send a message his way.
I do have Animal Messenger, so we could.
It may very well be easiest to meet down towards the dungeon. I can send him that way, and you should be able to find it easy enough.
Very well. Let's get moving.
He sort of straightens his robes and takes on a rather dignified air as you sort of crunch down into a rat. You're able to crawl underneath his robes, which do run all the way to the ground, and easily infiltrate. Obviously you could as a rat, but you get easy entrance straight through the front gate with you hear him stop and pause at the front gates. He talks to a couple of the guards, and Sylvan. One of them, as you pop your head out, looks like he's been beaten pretty badly. You see, he sports a smarting black eye, still slightly swollen, pale skin bruised. Backs of his hands bear yellowish marks. He seems a little bit nervous as he sort of says, "Yes, things are a little bit hectic, but of course you will be allowed, diplomat, to go inside. I'm afraid you'll have to meet with the Moonlit King a bit later. He has a trial to undertake. A couple of hours. Please tell the guard captain that Rivkin did a good job." As the man this guard Rivkin, who has likely been severely disciplined recently, steps out the way, and Gin is able to pass through, and you are able to dart away. Keesby, in your head you hear Gin echo. "I've got a contact. Headed towards dungeon. Small, white, mouse ferret."
Okay. I'm down here already. I was hiding near their things, waiting.
Okay. Karakwa, you're actually pretty surprised. Initially, you have to dodge footfalls, people walking in large crowds towards what appears to be an entrance hall. But once you get down to the inside of a building, see it's largely deserted. People are being drawn away, likely to this trial that's meant to be held by the Moonlit King. It takes a little while. Give me a survival check, actually. No, give me a perception check with advantage. It's gonna be a smell one.
Whoops. 18.
Alright. It does take a little while, but eventually you smell in the air smells that are different. Not Eladrin, but sort of human. Some sort of elf. You skitter down a stairway through a windowsill and plop down on what appears to be a cot. It's not the most comfortable cot in the world, but it does break your fall enough. You see you're in what appears to be a barracks of some kind. It's largely empty. No more than a half-dozen guards that are milling about, looking a little bit bored. A little bit disappointed as you hear one of them mutter that's, "Look, we'll get to see the trial whenever we take them up top. Don't need to be upset." You skitter by. Go ahead and Keesby, roll a perception check. Are you trying to be stealthy, Cody?
I guess I would be trying to be stealthy.
Okay.
I'm looking for a quick link, yeah?
Yes.
So I'm
Dude,
looking for
I can't fucking perceive anything.
He can hide, but he can't see things that are hiding.
I gotta switch to my phone. I gotta take Ziggy out. She's being a little panicky.
Oh, gotta pee.
If
Yeah.
Keesby would have gotten glasses from the Bear King, none of this would have happened.
Boy, is that true.
I'll go pee real fast. We're just gonna sort of move this along. You can see skittering about. You crawl along the edge of the wall, Karakwa, and your eyes, as you pass by a large chest, you can see a quickling is nestled in the corner, and both of your eyes meet. His eyes seeing yours. While you can't say anything, there's a sort of knowing glance that passes between you.
Meet me behind the valley, and I'll
Yeah.
suck your dick.
It's true. Meet me behind Grubb's Tavern, and I'll
The-
show you where the treasure is hidden.
Just to confirm, is Nick there?
He is going to be on his phone, so he'll be joining us shortly.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So you and Karakwa, Keysby and Karakwa, you both sort of notice each other. He's crawling along the wall near the chest, where all of the party's stuff is. Again, time is of the essence. You know that the trial for these two are to be held within the next hour or two. They're to be taken out. At this point, Keysby, you have noticed a significantly lesser guard presence. It seems this hullabaloo has kind of gotten people distracted. Instead of the normal 8 guards, there are only 4, including, the guard captain is also not there. He's preparing the courtroom, essentially, to receive the prisoners. And it will likely be down soon to escort them up. You squeeze through and see, and at this point you've also seen he has left the keys this time with the guards instead of carrying them with him. Because he will not be the one to escort them up, they will.
If you would like to roll for me, I would like to try and steal the keys.
Alright.
Boy,
Quicklings are good with sleight of hand, and these are not the guard captain, so they're not really as... not nearly as impressive. Pose. Alright, 20 versus a 7. No, 20 versus an 11 on their perception. The guards are on alert. They're not playing their cards. There's a tension in the air as they do scan and keep an eye on things, but they still don't notice you whenever you slowly lift up the keys. You can see these key of rings, this ring of keys, is not quite what you would expect it to be. It has a single key on it, essentially. And there is a bead at the top of it. Every time you flip it over that bead, it transforms into a different key for a different cell.
How many cells?
There are 16 cells, 8 on each side.
Christ.
Is there any indication of what key is which when I swap them? Do they change? Does the key physically change?
Roll an Arcana check.
That's
Or-
all you, buddy.
I would say, or this would be a Karakwa thing, as you've managed to. I'd say you both managed to sneak in. If you want to roll stealth rolls. Let's see how good Keysby is at this fucking stealth. Really good. And then
I guess I
need
would
to-
have the stealth of whatever that creature is.
I've got it.
He's a quickling.
Yeah, but I'm like some kind of mouse ferret thing. I'm just gonna add a plus 20 to that. Oh boy, I rolled a 6 natural, so.
I know what it is. Don't plus 8. So you got an 18.
Okay, I rolled a 14. Yeah, okay.
Both pretty stealthy. As you dart down the hallway, your tiny little form not really catching the attention. The Quickling's incredible stealth ability. He manages to dodge sight, and soon you're at the end of the hallway, sort of hidden in the darkness where the guards can't really see you that well. There you're able to sort of look and sort of better examine the keys. Is Keysby staying stealthy at the end where Ito only Aruna and Ito can see him, or is he revealing himself at that point?
stay stealthy while I can. If they see me, whatever. But I'm gonna try and be stealthy
Go
about
ahead
it.
and give me a perception check, Ito and Aruna, and I guess Hayhorn.
Action.
Perception.
Do I have any? One second.
I don't see
I'd
shit.
say
No,
it's a
wisdom
19.
checks against perception checks against me have disadvantage. Well, if I had that cloak.
Yeah, there's drips.
All right. You don't hear or see anything. Karakwa, go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
13.
You are able to as Keysby sort of fumbles with the keys, from within the shadows. You sort of scurry up next to him, and you are able to look at the key and look at the gate, and sort of you can feel the magic within it. And you realize that it's actually pretty straightforward. The key itself was set on its initial thing, it's L1. And he flips it over to basically 5 times to go to 6, then 7 and 8. So cell 6, 7, and 8 would be Aruna's and Ito's, and although it would be Haythorn, Aruna, and Ito in that order. And it's pretty easy to discern which is which to your eyes.
Okay. I make the whatever tapping movements I can to indicate the correct key to Kisby here.
Keysby, whenever you start flipping over the keys, whenever you get to one, you can feel the rat sort of scurry and scratch against your skin.
Some ratatouille shit right
not
here.
Not enough to like open up a wound or scratch you, but it does get your attention as it scurries over to Hayhorn's cell. You're able to go and insert the key. Does not find any resistance through the wall of force. Slides easily into the lock. You don't even have to turn it. You just wait for a second, and there is a slight clicking sound. The door and lock gives way. The wall of force falls away. You do the same to all the other cells, freeing Aruna and Ito. Now I need everyone to make a stealth check.
Oh boy.
Listen,
Oh shit!
D&D.
It's rolling. Oh great. It's a 9.
praise be. That's much better.
I rolled a natural 3.
22.
9.
Why can't y'all fuckers roll like Keysby's stealth? He gets 27s.
Because I don't have my cloak right now.
What you're
That
saying
doesn't
is,
matter.
what you're saying, Colin, is that I have advantage. Correct.
Theoretically, yes.
I don't have
I rolled a
disadvantage.
natural 5.
Can't roll
Theoretically, you
over
could.
5.
It's okay. Mine's good. So see you later, guys.
Keysby, you know that the time is short. You've seen that the trial is ready to go underway. It's now or never. Despite the fact that as you creep forward, you get to about 30 feet away from the guards before they look up. They see Ito. And they see... let's see, who else got below? 13. Hayhorn. They see Ito and they see Hayhorn. And a look of confusion passes over their face, and you realize that you've been seen, but they're also a little bit surprised, as they were both all sort of leaning against the wall, nervously awaiting the chance to take you out of your cells. See you out ahead of time is unusual. Go ahead and you have a first action against them. You're 30 feet away. There's 4 of them.
Yeah, have we noticed the little white mouse?
You have not, probably. Well, maybe you have.
I would imagine unless Kisby mentioned it.
It's a good chance
Nice.
Keysby might have mentioned it.
If I see the little white mouse, I'm gonna give him the thumbs up.
Little white mouse gives you a thumbs up.
I'm gonna knuckle bump the little mouse.
You dealt HP damage to me.
He's dead.
Well, you just wasted your free action, Ida. You fucking idiot.
Oh, we don't have our effects.
You can still run in there and punch him in the fucking face.
I am gonna go try if they have. I'm gonna try and trip one of them.
All right.
You know what? I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna put I'm gonna lay the unseen servant across the way as they're running up.
You don't have effects. You do have your rapier still.
No, I'm gonna do the string and the wood, and I'll cast an unseen servant, laying down in the pathway in front of me.
All right. What is Aruna doing?
Christ so fucking mighty. I'm going towards the door.
All right. You trip on Ito's unseen servant and fall.
Oh, great.
But
All right. So you're heading towards the door. Ito is laying down an unseen servant. Keesby's trying to trip them. What is Hayhorn doing?
I'll like come hither to Hayhorn. I'm like, you're gonna die if you stay here. You're coming with us.
yeah. Oh yeah, nah. Hayhorn's not gonna be staying at all. But wait. So what are the guards doing right now? Or
They're shocked. They're surprised to see you coming up the walkway. So you get a free action against them, free turn against them, essentially.
can I charge at one and try to shove him into the wall?
Yes. All right. Keesby trying to make a stealth roll, or not stealth roll, a trip roll. You charge forward. You're fully armed, so go ahead and make an attack roll against them. Oh wait, I guess I will if you're not there.
Nope, I'm still outside.
Alright.
She's still.
We'll go ahead. Well, we'll delay. If you get back by the end, you can roll it. If not, I'll roll it. Hayhorn, you charge down the walkway, the 30 feet, barreling, sort of lowering your shoulder and barreling into him, basically ramming him. Give me an athletics check.
Yeah, that's a 9. That is not good.
You shove the Eladrin about 5 feet back, and he does sort of bump into the wall, but you don't slam him into it, as he is able to halt his retreat, saying, "What the hell's going on?"
If I may, does he have a sword sheathed or something?
Yes, he does. They do wield short swords.
Can I go to grab it?
Yes, you can try to take it from him with a sleight of hand.
Please.
He's also not great at sleight of hand, so...
That's a 20. Non-natural.
While you don't manage to slam him into the wall, it is a distraction enough that your hand reaches down and slides the short sword from the scabbard as he tries to grab it from you, but is not fast enough to get it back. So you are armed, but that
Not
is
my rapier, but it'll do.
that is your first turn. Alright. Ito, one of them, seeing you, charges at you, drawing the short sword. He growls and says, "I'm gonna save the Moonlit King some time and kill you right here." As he does so, he trips and falls right over the unseen servant, slamming face down on the ground. As he was unable to detect its presence and got caught up. Rolled a 6 on his acrobatics check.
If I can I try and catch him and Irish whip him into my cell and shut the door?
Sure, make an athletics check.
Oh, I'm great at that. 14.
Right. It's a little bit of an awkward catch, but you do manage to catch him. As you struggle briefly, and then flip him over into a nearby cell and slam the door.
I still have not revealed that I'm armed yet.
Okay. That's
Um,
Aruna.
that was his turn, right?
No, these are all your turns essentially.
Okay,
It's narrative right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I go towards the exit door.
Right. You rush towards the exit, and one of the guard moves to bar your path. A sort of glum look on his face.
Oh, did he see me? Even with my stealth check? Does he know I'm there, though?
At this point, he knows something is happening, although he might not have immediately noticed you. The party itself everyone did not pass, so he's aware there's a breakout, doesn't necessarily notice you immediately.
Okay.
He does move towards the doorway to bar it.
Unseen Servant had 1 HP, I'm guessing it's dismissed.
Yeah, and I'll say, after the trip and fall, the Unseen Servant probably dissipates. Since we're doing things very narratively right now.
Yeah, I'm very much... Well, I'm not very good in the strength department. Is there any water nearby, Colin?
There are a couple of flagons of ale.
Can I toss a flagon of ale onto the ground and freeze it? And try to knock the asshole on his butt?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
You grab a nearby tankard off the table. It's filled nearly to the brim with what appears to be a dark brown beer, and you slosh it onto the ground. Freeze it right under his feet as he's going to make a dexterity saving throw to try to stay standing. Got a 13. He slips and falls.
Oh. Cool. Does he fall onto the door or off to the side?
He falls in the doorway.
Ah, shit.
So he's laying prone on his back, but in the doorway.
Okay. Can I get over him and through the door or not?
You will be able to on your next turn.
Okay.
Karakwa,
Yes.
you're seeing all this stuff going on. A flurry of activity. The Eladrin has managed to push one guard, shove him against the wall, and steal the short sword. Ito has managed to trip one up and throw him in a cell, and Aruna has managed to freeze a tankard of ale on the feet of one of the Eladrin guards, and he slipped and fallen onto the ground. One guard remains completely fine, still a little bit stunned, but it is your go. There's one prone, one that's had his weapon stolen, one that's locked in a cage, and one that's okay.
The one that's okay, I jump off Easy's shoulder and run up behind that guard. And I remove my shapeshift and use that surprise behind him to, what's the word? Apprehend. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Lou.
Make
To
a
apprehend slash
grapple check
whatever.
with advantage.
Okay, what is it?
Damn, I wanted you to elbow drop him.
That's just a straight strength.
Athletics with advantage. We'll have disadvantage. Oh boy, he rolled a 1.
I rolled an 8.
All right. His shock at a lizard folk bursting forth from the form of a rat
That would be pretty terrifying.
causes him to completely fumble his weapon away, dropping it on the ground as you grab his arms and wrench them behind him, pushing him over the table and holding him in place. He is
Let's
grappled.
imagine I was
Pretty.
running towards him and jumped and then transferred midair and then grabbed his arms.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
He is grappled. And then it goes, last but not least, to Keysby with delayed turn.
Let's see.
One has been disarmed, one has been thrown in a cell, one is laying prone in the doorway having slipped on frozen ale, and the other is now being grappled and pushed over the table by Karakwa.
Can I run up and I want to stab this the dude on the laying prone on the ground in the eye.
Okay.
Jesus.
Stab him in the face.
I'm still outside, so
Okay, I'll roll for you. You have advantage on this because he is laying prone. (22). That's enough. They're one-shot minions. You leap into the air, and your small sword pierces straight through his eye, straight through his skull, as he flails around wildly, crying at the top of his lungs in pain, before falling still, and you withdraw your bloodied short sword. Alright. The two guards almost immediately, or the two remaining guards, almost immediately give up their struggle, seeing that they are now outnumbered. One is disarmed, one is completely held in place. They say, "Alright, please, just don't kill us."
Yeah, well, into the cells for you.
I look to Keysby. Keys. Hold up my hand to catch him.
I throw him the keys.
I go through the things, find the nearest cell, open it, throw the guard.
Ito,
I'll ask my.
Aruna,
If I see that happen, no, that's a bad idea. Never mind.
your friend
Everybody-
Karakwa. So appeared. He takes the keys from Keysby. Moving down the cellway. Start shoving them into the cells.
After the last one's thrown in, I turn to Aruna and Ito and I say, "It's good to see you again."
Later, and I
Yes.
want to grab those
Much-
keys, and I want to count how many different keys do I see. Does it equal the number of cells?
There is a single key on the keychain.
Sure, I understand.
But
when I
as you
flip
cycle through it, it's an equal number for every cell.
it, then I'm going to open one of the cells that's empty, and I'm gonna throw the keys into that cell and shut it.
Nice.
Alright.
But just to confirm, I'm only doing that if cell equal key. If there's an
Yes.
extra key on that ring, I'm not doing that.
No, it's fine.
Yes.
You can throw it in
Okay.
there. You turn and sprint out of the doorway, because now we're just trying to wrap things up. Hey, Horn. As you sort of turn, you see there is there are no guards left except for one awkward guard that stands in the corner of the barracks. He has a small parchment open and he's jotting down words, sort of muttering to himself. Lay, bay, pray. Completely. And then as he looks up and sees you there, he like drops the parchment and draws his short sword, but his hand trembles. Like, you're not supposed to be out yourselves yet.
Of course we are. Just go back to your poems.
Doing great, buddy.
Okay, Colin, I want to walk up and I want to take the sword out of his hand, and I'll pick his pen up and I'll give it to him, and I'll go, "The pen is mightier than the sword," and I'll fuck off. See what he does.
You have little trouble disarming them. He makes one like half-hearted lunge at you, but it's wild and misses the mark as he doesn't have a lot of faith in it. Even despite your strength, you're able to pull the sword away from him. You hand him the pen and the paper. Keep on writing, buddy. He just looks a little bit confused.
Hey, Horde, just
oh.
causing chaos.
Okay. Okay, you're right. And he just he lets you pass as he doesn't seem interested in the conflict. You emerge on the first floor.
Seems like an odd fellow.
Down here, on the first floor of this level, you can see people are milling about. There's large groups gathered, awaiting your own trial. You can see the doorway stands open. The great hall sits filled to the brim, the tables for the feasting removed. The two thrones remain seated in place, one of white marble, one of black granite. And now they both sit filled, as Aruna, you see the Moonlit King on one throne, and your younger sister Sarune sitting on another, the wickedly curved sword held in her hand. You can even make out the back of your father's head near the front. Your family all gathered, watching the ascension, or continued ascension, of their prized daughter, the spot you should have filled. But you don't have long to look. Go ahead and give me stealth checks. I imagine you're trying to be stealthy here.
Wait,
Yeah.
we get our stuff.
Yes. You might wanna, yes, okay. Once the Poet Guard is sort of dealt with, you have easy access to the barracks.
While we're in the barracks,
So that is gonna take a lock-picking check, however, a Thieves' Tools check, which Keysby is good at.
Easy.
while Kisby handles the chest, Colin, are there any other small rats, mice, vermin, anything that I can find?
Of course, anything like this is pretty prone to have animals. All the rats and mice here have they're not quite like material plane mice, they have a much denser coat, but easy enough to mimic and transform into, if you wanted to.
Thankfully, they all seem to like free food, as I take out a piece of the bread from the feast I was at last night and beckon towards ones that come towards me as I cast the spell Animal Messenger.
Yeah.
And I tell the creature that comes to me to look for the man with blue hair, silver clothes. Tell him that we are free and looking for him.
You give him a general description of Gen, silver-rimmed glasses, blue eyes, that sort of thing.
General area he's in.
And it takes the piece of bread and stuffs it in its cheeks and darts away, disappearing to you don't know where. During that time, Keysby, you work on the lock. Like I said, it's a heavy iron lock, but it's pretty simple. The locking mechanism is not magical at all. And you're able to, with a 22, you only have to take maybe 10 seconds before you hear it go click, and the hasp pops open. You push open the sturdy iron chest and find all of your affects within it. You quickly gather them up. Emerging out on the first floor, you see what I said before. People milling about, the two thrones. Aruna, your family is gathered there. One is wielding a large two-handed crescent-bladed sword. Your sister Sarune, a sign of her station, essentially as the upcoming Snow Queen alongside the Moonlit King. Now, how do you want to get out? There's quite a few crowds gathered around here.
I tap her on the shoulder real quick, point at the sister, and be like, "Hey, wait, that's the girl."
I'll look at Ito, like, almost dumbfounded, like, there's literally shit we can do other than leave at the moment.
Your choice.
Well, unless you want to actually see the tail end of the spell he was casting down in the dungeon, I don't think we can.
Your choice.
I suggest we make haste. Gen is waiting for us.
You know, I've learned a thing or two about keeping dragons waiting.
Speaking of, how long have y'all been here in the Feywild?
Funny thing about the Feywild, we have no fucking idea.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like it's
You
only
guess?
been several, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a week and a half. That's what it feels like.
Do they tell me that it's what it feels like?
And how
Okay. So between Kurako and I, we can both turn into animals in some way, shape, or form and sneak around fairly easily. That leaves Ito and Ahorn.
I mean, if I have my loot, I can go invisible, but I have a feeling that's not going to be helpful here.
Well, polymorph also might not be, but let's just fucking do it. Okay. I'll turn into the same thing that Kurako was before.
Alright. Shrink down to a tiny mouse.
Colin, can I use spell slots for the loot spells?
I don't think so. I believe you have to use just one of the charges of the loot.
But if I have a 4th level spell slot, I can't say cast fly at a 4th level spell.
Let me look up DOS loot to see if it says you can spend spell if you know those, learn those spells, or you can only cast them off of it. DOS. It does not say that you can use your own spell slots to cast it, but I'll let it happen.
I mean, realistically, I guess no, because I can only cast the one spell. Never mind. Okay, that won't work. I was gonna try and cast fly on all of us, but I could only do it on 2. I can cast on myself, I guess, because you guys can turn into birds.
I'm turning into a fucking mouse and fucking scurrying out.
Sure, let's go.
Yep,
Alright.
fucking leave.
You hear, as you sort of sprint away, so we've got Mouse Aruna,
Mm-hmm.
Mouse Karakwa,
I'll do
or
a snowy owl.
Snowy Owl Karakwa. We've got,
You can carry me. if
Do I
you
have my
need to.
is my necklace with my things?
yes, everything, all of your effects are in there. We've
No
got Stealthy Keysby.
Mhm.
We have, what is Hayhorn? So that's the stealth check for Keysby.
I'll if I may use a spell slot to cast something off the loot. If that's legal, I can cast fly on 2 people, myself and Galen.
I'll let you do it this one time. Don't expect it to always work.
Mm-hmm. As I'm running towards the entrance, I'll also summon Bert, who's presumably stayed within the perimeter. And when we have clearance, I'm gonna have him pick me up and fly me off.
Alright. So that's... that leaves a stealth check for Keysby and for Hayhorn. Unless Hayhorn's also doing something in particular.
26 for my stealth.
Not
Okay.
really. And besides, I'm decent at stealth.
You are an Eladrin, you can try to blend in.
21.
Pretty good, though. The crowd itself has got its attention focused on the matter at hand, the gathering of the king and queen for this trial that you're supposed to be at soon, but you're breaking out. You dart through the crowds, your forms passing through legs. A couple of people see you, but they're mostly just confused that you're going the wrong direction from the entertainment. They don't know who you are. Obviously, most of these people have no clue who you are. You just sort of pass by them. As you soar ahead, you make it to the front gate. You hear a voice in your head, Karakwa, that says, "I'll be there in a second." As Ged answers you, having received the animal messenger.
Alright.
As you run towards the trees, Ito,
Well,
you're flying, yes?
yes, I cast it on myself and Hayward.
Alright. The two of you soaring above, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, Ito.
Uh-oh.
Okay. 15.
Everybody that is within X feet of me has bonuses to their saving throws.
Okay, then add whatever the bonus is to 15.
15.
Plus 5.
It's a non-natural 20.
Alright. So Haythorn got a non-natural 20. What did Ito get?
I got an 11.
Alright.
I don't know if Aura of Protection gains bonus to saving throw equal to Charisma modifier, which is plus 4. So I got a.
Alright, so it does include you.
So I got a 15.
Alright.
So it's
Plus 4. And then I got a 19.
Arcing electricity flashes through the air as it strikes you directly, Ito, and sort of bounces off you, chains into Hayhorn. You take... Oh wait, no, it's... You take 23 points of lightning damage.
Ouch.
And Hayhorn takes half that because he passed his saving throw as it arcs into him. But you see, standing in the gatehouse's gate opening, the guard captain, his eyes crackling with anger and electricity as he watches you flying away, saying, "Get back here!"
Right, that's likely.
Hayhorn's just gonna turn around, smirk, and
Yeah, we're
wave.
flying backwards.
But you're already flying past them. You can see, as you continue flying close, he lifts his hands in the air, takes off flying after you.
Okay.
You can see he casts the spell on himself. Takes off soaring. Be a good time to dispel magic.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
That's her game, not mine.
But before this goes on too much longer, he is going to give some chase, however.
Okay, so do we have a particular destination, or was it just get out?
No, just fuck, get the fuck away, basically. And we'll be able
Okay,
to find you.
Okay, do I see this asshole chasing them?
Yes, he is chasing after you.
Fuck. So did Bert actually pick me up?
Yes.
Like I was trying to get him to do. Cool. Can he drop me like on a? So are we actually out of the entire like court area, like out towards the woods now?
Yeah, you're out towards the woods now. Leaving it behind. There's guards and patrols out here still, but it's a lot safer.
Okay.
How fast is he flying?
Same flight speed as Ito, basically, because he's got the fly spell on him.
Well, no, I just kind of need to know, like
He's
an actual
60
speed,
feet.
but, so if he ran into like a wall, that would hurt, right?
Yeah. If he runs into a wall, if he falls to the ground, it's gonna hurt. It probably won't kill him, but it's gonna stop him.
Can I face step in front of him with my feet right in front of his face?
Sure. All right.
Oh, cool.
Alright.
You
Basically in a drop kick formation.
as he soars towards you angrily, his eyes crackling with energy once again as he prepares to fire more lightning bolts. You fey step towards him, using your innate ability. Your feet tucked in as you appear in front of him. You lash out at him. Make an attack roll with advantage.
Okay.
So D20.
D20. It's an unarmed attack roll, so I don't know.
That would be strength modifier, or
Yes, strength modifier.
Well, that's nothing. I don't get proficiency though, right?
Nope, you're not. I don't believe you are. Well, yeah, you do, because everyone's proficient in unarmed attacks. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
I forgot. Proficiency in unarmed attacks was a relic of the older stuff.
That's a 15.
All right. You're.
Oh wait, you said it was with advantage.
You do have advantage.
Okay, still 15.
You appear before him, and your feet land directly in his basically collarbone with a sickening crunch as it launches you forward. Go ahead and roll 2d12 damage.
Nice.
Jeez.
All right.
That was a 9.
There's a sickening crack as his collarbone shatters, and you also feel some of the bones in your feet break as well. But it is enough that it sends him flying off course, and he tumbles to the ground, landing in the snow, sending up plumes of it as he falls to a stop below you. You can see he's alive and moving, and he looks up at you.
That was a Mortal Kombat fatality.
He does look up at you, but as he slowly rises to his feet, you leave him behind. You leave the Winter Court behind. You fly until the fly spell runs out. You get as far away as you can.
I want to message the guard as we're getting over the horizon. And I say that, just so he's aware, the new boss usually sucks about as much as the old boss.
Hear nothing in return.
Which guard?
The one you just drop kicked.
The captain.
Alright. You fly until the fly spell runs out. Until the trees actually begin to show a little bit of signs of life. The moon begins to fall into the sky as you approach the area of the Autumn Court. You don't get to it quite, but you get far enough away that you feel like you're safe. You sit down on the ground. You're able to take stock. Karakwa, there. You are able to take the form. Hayhorn is the only one that really suffered any injuries, rather minor, as it seems like he's broken some bones in his foot from his drop kick, but effective nonetheless.
I cure wounds on him.
I was just saying, I'll lay on
Pop that
hands.
out. Oh, I'll let him lay on hands.
You don't have to wait long as you heal the foot, your Eladrin ally, or you hear the crunching sound of snow and footfalls
I thought you were talking about his foot.
hurrying towards you. And you see Gen appear in the small clearing that you've settled in. A look of concern on his face and then relief to see you all gathered. My God. I can't believe that worked.
I can't either.
You didn't know?
Oh. I wasn't 100% sure, but I had a lot of faith, after all.
All-powerful dragon you are.
I can't
Ito fucking
see
dies.
a future. I can just see a few futures. Quite a few of them had everyone dying. Some of them even had myself being captured.
Colin's way of saying he was prepared to kill again for our stupidity.
But I'm glad you're safe. He turns to you, Karakwa, and nods his head. That's why I brought you along.
I'll look at Karak and I'll say, you! Where the fuck have you been?
You won't believe this, but they just left you without even looking.
I don't have anyone to accuse.
We'll have time for accusations on the other side. I'd rather not stay on this plane any longer than I have to.
We gotta do something first.
It's something that can be done quickly.
I feel like we got a homie up there in the top left. Over there. Yep, that guy. Yep. Yeah.
What?
You got work to do, buddy.
I do.
Yeah.
I have to go back.
How good's your memory?
I'm sorry, what?
How good your memory?
My memory? Or Keesby's memory?
Memory.
Keesby's? Flawless.
You've got a flawless memory. Keesby better flawlessly describe the exact thing that he saw when we left.
Oh, which part of that? The whole thing?
Yeah, as much of it as possible. The people,
Yeah.
the objects, the thrones,
Keesby's gonna go and tell the Bear King literally everything that happens.
That's what he wanted to know after all. He wanted to know what the hell's going on, and Keesby found out.
I suppose I could help shed some light on that as well.
Now you're going to be going back to the Winter Court anytime soon.
Indeed.
You can come with us.
And, Eladrins can change their season, can't they?
Maybe if they undertake certain rituals.
Okay.
Or you can come
This
to
would
the
probably be a time where he would go back to whichever one he would be had been spying for.
He was definitely spying for the Autumn Court. Regardless, you had no need to help us. So you have my thanks. I wish you luck on your endeavors. Should you wish to return to the material plane, we can take you with us.
Oh, is he talking to me?
They could talk to both you, Keithy, and you. If you wanted to go with him, you theoretically could, but time for them to go home.
Yeah, nah. Hayhorn. Well, he's
Another
got
time.
information he must give to the Autumn.
I need to go to the Bear King first before I do anything else.
Very well.
I'll tell Hayhorn about the inn we stayed at with the thin spot.
Do tell
the one
him.
that Reed had a terrible night in with the fucking tricorn hat guy.
I don't know. I slept like a baby, so.
Oh, so Colin, I'm gonna do what I just sent you in private and not really talk the rest of the time.
Gonna jerk off? Oh,
Yeah.
Jerking it?
Yeah, dude.
Alright. He again says, gather around, my friends. As each of you gets close, you all put your hands on his arms. You look back at Hayhorn and Keesby, your allies that have helped you on your Feywild adventure. You feel that familiar sucking sensation.
That is how he described it to me too.
A pull at your navel as all of you are wrenched from the Feywild back to the material plane. You land the dull thud. Teleportation circle located. The Grand Palace of the Holy Emperor herself. In the capital of Weissenberg. That's where we will end it.